Wind howls across silver-white sand in the vast reaches of the endless night. And our sleepless duo once again keeps watch. The Seekers have made their way from Thaisha, returning to the Tyria Via to retrace their steps and return ostensibly first to Castle Torch and then west to Dolmakyar, having learned the vast secrets in the dark at Thaisha. Gathered here in this place, there are horses hitched to an outcropping of rock. Thaisha and Julien, Dr. Talter, sleep nearby. The two of you keep watch as the wind howls. There is another figure, the body of Dame Gaia Saramai. Here at night, does she remain tied to her horse, or has she been lowered to the ground to give the beast some chance at rest?
I kind of lowered her to the ground. Don't want the horses to expire.
Lowering Gaia to the sand, unwrapping her, you see black armor, sword, that serpent tattoo that now stands out even more as her exsanguinated body pumped, all of its blood out through these injuries. You see cratered breastplate and ribs from where the scorpion's tail of the half-formed attempt at the Deva Vindicta crushed through her viscera, and the second injury shattered her jaw, tore apart her jugular vein, and even cracked the vertebrae at the back of her neck. Her eyes, the bridge of her nose, the upper part of her face remains undamaged, but the mouth is a bloody mess. The sort of green of her eyes stays open in this shock that Octus, you find some palpable empathy for that sudden realization that you're about to die. And the only thing you can do is be amazed.
Yeah.
As we're putting her down, I'm just going to look a little closer to the wound through her jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And close her eyes.
Yeah.
Creeping me out.
Yeah. No, I know. I know how that feels. I feel bad. The last thing she tried to do was help me. Told me to get out. I feel bad, but it was also nice to know that someone in my family was nice sometimes.
Yeah.
So much of the narrative around my family is evil, bad.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Hopefully there are more like her.
I think there are. It's just... my dad is a particular kind of asshole. And it tends to overshadow some of the other things.
Mm-hmm. Your brothers and sisters seem to be in competition for your daddy's love.
I think he wanted it that way. He wants everyone to try and impress him.
What a leader.
Yeah, well, he doesn't seem to know everything, which is comforting. Nor is he all-powerful. Anyway,
No, he's not.
look, I appreciate you helping with everything here. And I'm sorry you got hurt.
I'm okay.
You and Julien almost weren't.
I know that... what I said when we talked about the stone and...
Yeah.
You and... whatever this means. I don't know, I don't want you to think that that's my only reason for following you. Is because of what you can do for me.
Okay, I mean, I wouldn't blame you. You know. Julien only has one reason for being around me. So. But if that's not the case, why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I believe we were pulled together for some reason, and I don't know why yet.
Okay, I mean, boiling it down, I don't really know why I'm with Thaisha, you know?
Yeah.
Other than friends? Kind of. I mean, it's kind of like a weird mom-son situation. I don't know. It's just kind of, it's gotten weird over the 6 months.
6 months?
She's been mad at me. I'm doing things that she doesn't like. I don't think she ever thought about where I came from and who I am, and now I'm starting to do things that make her upset. She has to remind me that some things that my family used to do are not normal or nice, like the cages.
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty bad.
You get used to it. You know? It's everywhere.
To get used to bad things like that means a little bit of disassociation, which is usually not healthy.
Right. But, I mean, there was some of that going on a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna wrap up her face. I'm gonna take one of the shirts that I took from the Einfassen house. And just wrap it around the face, just to... No one needs to see that. And I'm going to also take the head of my cousin out of my satchel.
That's right, Tersha.
And kind of wrap it up in their clothes and kind of bind it to that body just to kind of keep it there.
Yeah.
You see me pull a head out of my bag. I want to look at this later. Hopefully it'll tell me something more about what they were going to do to me.
Do you want to talk to her?
What do you mean?
I mean, I talked to Asgard.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
Can we do that?
We can try.
Okay. Yeah. If you want.
Sure. I mean, we got all night.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I am going to take out the stone. And... yeah, speak with death.
Vaelus, you step forward once again and feel yourself at the edge of the temporal reaches, edge of this vast underworld that should not be. You need to select one of the two dead bodies before you, either Thaisha or Gaia. To whom do you wish to speak in this moment?
Thaisha.
Sand. Darkness. You can hear wails in the distance. There are spirits that are lost here in the desert. They can't find their way home. You see before you the head wrapped in gauze begins to glow. Sunken, desiccated flesh, Thaisha's hair had largely fallen out. Suddenly, translucent spirit of a much healthier young woman, perhaps a year or two younger than Octus. See, she stands up. Spectral wings grow from her back. And you see, as the wings grow larger and larger, she is anchored to the ground. The wings are too large for her to be able to stand up under their weight. They're not part of her natural body. Something's been done to her, this ritual.
May I help her up?
Give me an athletics check.
Natural 20.
You go to her holding the stone of night song. Lifting her up, the wings break from her back on a natural 20, and nightingales flash across the sand. And you can hear them singing in the darkness, providing comfort and direction to those souls that are lost here. Thaisha looks down at you. Spirit. Hi.
Hello, Thaisha.
Hi, cousin.
As you say hi, cousin, you see Vaelus, a sort of spectral Octus kind of appears here in this place nearby, routed through your command over the Stone of Night Song. And you can see that she looks out and goes, "Who's that? Hello?"
It's Octus.
And faintly you can see her go, "Octus? Did it work? Did we do it?"
May I, in sort of helping her up,
Yeah.
I want to take in her body and try to see everything that they did to her.
You see that there is a lump of calcified. The only thing solid her, she's almost translucent, ghostly.
Okay.
But you're still able to physically interact with her here in this space. You're partially sort of in the underworld as you cast this spell. As you lift her up, the only thing solid you can see is a lump of some fossilized ivory material in her chest, where her heart would be. She looks and says, Are you part of the ritual?"
No.
Oh.
You didn't survive the ritual.
I know.
You knew?
I'm proud. I was proud to serve my family. I was going to become something good, right?
I don't know.
Cousin, if you can hear me, the ritual did something. I don't know what the purpose or the final intention was, but you were changed and you were something else.
It didn't quite work.
I don't think fully.
Do you know why?
My father mentioned something, that there was some concerns about earlier experiments. He didn't share everything with me. Wait, is Saharkas okay?
Saharkas is okay.
Okay.
Cousin, we didn't know each other well. Did you have access to the magic that all of us have?
I did.
Okay. Good.
If the ritual failed, where do I go now? Why haven't they found me?
Who?
Oh. Father? Uncle? I'm sorry! I'm sorry it didn't work!
You did nothing wrong.
How did they say they were gonna find you?
Octus? Oh, that's right. You'd have no way of knowing.
What?
Your condition. There's nothing scary about dying. How are they gonna find me? I came home. Vaelus, I'm needing you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no, okay. Oh, that was... oh, that's not good. That's 5.
Your concentration on, or not your concentration, but your magic of this spell shatters as snaking out of the sky a massive ichor covered, dripping with dark blood talon of bone grasps Thaisha in its claws.
I try to grab her back.
On that failed Constitution save, she is wrenched from your hands. She looks at you, crushed by the talon, and goes, I'm not scared. And that's all for this moment of our journey with our seekers. We'll return to Dolmakyar and our schemers on tonight's episode of Critical Role.
Welcome back, friends, to the Critical Role Announcement Playhouse. Indeed. We got some announcements to get through before we jump back into Armand, beginning with tonight's sponsor, Ether and Iron, a new video game set in an alternate 1930s taking inspiration from New York's rich history, Art Deco, and film noir. Sam, what do you know about the game?
What do you know about the game, he asked. A question more loaded than a 6-shooter in a jealous husband's nightstand. This flatfoot wanted the goods on Ether and Iron, a narrative-driven RPG where you're an underworld smuggler in the mean streets of New York, a city dirtier than a politician's search history. But was I gonna spill the sausage? Not on your life. This canary don't sing unless the microphone's made of moonshine. I don't play games, buddy. But fate's a funny thing. I bet that smoke-stained sweetheart knows what's what. Name names, sister. Give up the goods or I'll let the whiskey do the talking.
Sure. This Seamus acted tough, but he was weaker than a handshake from an escape room designer. I've splashed around with sewer rats like him and managed to keep my two-piece clean. You want the news, detective? Read the papes. Maybe you'll see how the game lets you assemble and upgrade incredible Aether-powered, levitating cars and recruit a team to drive them.
Don't get cute, Legs. Next you'll tell me players can add hidden compartments, smoke dispensers, and flamethrowers, and a twist on strategic vehicular battles.
Every sap knows that, sweetheart. What I don't know is why this 2-bit goon keeps giving me the side eye.
The dizzy dame was on to me. This Skid Row siren found out that Ether and Iron lets me navigate the city that never sleeps, dodging dime store thugs, stashing black market hooch, and sidestepping the fat cats. But what she didn't suspect was that Ether and Iron launches on Steam and Steam Deck March 31st, a secret I'd keep tighter than the lid on a jar of month-old kombucha.
And with that metaphor, it hit me. If I could hear this schmo narrating his internal monologue, maybe they could hear mine too.
Man, oh man. This putz was dimmer than a glow stick at the end of Burning Man.
And less charismatic than a mime on the radio.
And more confused than the writers on the final season of Game of Thrones. Oh wait, you're talking about me.
Them's the breaks, kids.
Well, this case was closed. But Aether and Iron was just getting started, featuring full voice acting, turn-based car combat, dice roll skill checks, and a deep, well-crafted world. Level up your hustle, smarts, and brass with Aether and Iron. Check out bit.ly/Aether and IronCR, launching on Steam and Steam Deck on March 31st. Demo available now. Matt, keep your nose out of the gutter.
Thank you very much. Marisha, you got the next announcement.
I do. You guys, we cannot wait to see you for our Echoes of Exandria live shows this year. Woo! And we just announced all the details on what you can look forward to at each event. Whether you're hoping for another adventure to the Happy Fun Ball, maybe a standoff with the Plain King, or more space horror on Ruinous.
Are these possibilities?
These are gonna happen.
What?
You're gonna get all of that. And did you ask for the Grand Poobah to doink of all of this and that himself back in the GM seat?
What?
Yeah, we did.
What?
Actually did.
Yeah.
Because you're getting that too. You're getting all of it. So we only have a few tickets still available, so if you were waiting to pull the trigger, now is the time. Head on over to critroll.com/events for all of the info.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marisha. Super excited for all that. And if you are headed to PAX East this Saturday, March 28th, you can watch myself and Chris Perkins playing Dagger out of the Acquisitions Incorporated show in the main theater, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's right. We'll be streaming live on the Darrington Press YouTube channel, or you can catch the VOD on Beacon the following Monday. Come check it out. It's a continuation of a whole new narrative of Acquisitions Incorporated. Liam, you're up.
Oh my gods! We are so excited to announce our latest project. I just got a hernia. Our latest project with our friends at Penguin Random House, Children of Empire. A new novel coming this November. I love it so much.
It's so good.
It explores the fates of Empire kids, Caleb Widowgast and Beauregard Lionut, in a first of its kind official sequel to our Mighty Nine campaign.
What?
Look who's on the back. Children of Empire is written by Hugo, Nebula, and Ignite Award-nominated author Nibadita Sen, and cover art is designed by longtime friend of Critical Role, Nikki Dawes.
Woo!
This fucking book is so well written, I can't wait for you guys to get it, to pre-order, and for all the details, visit criticalrolebooks.com.
Empire Kids! Empire Kids!
Thank you, Liam. Actually, Taliesin, you two are up.
Oh.
Costume change.
We got a lot of those.
Hey, get in, critters. We're going shopping.
Yes, we are. Ashley and I love the thrill of finding fun bits, bobs, and thrifted treasures, and our friends at eBay Live are going to help us make that happen.
Let's go!
Join us. Let's do it tomorrow. March 27th at 5 p.m. for our Weird Kids Shop-A-Ganza, sponsored by eBay Live.
Help us find some collectibles, some rare items.
And we will be auctioning off a few items ourselves with all the proceeds raised going to the Critical Role Foundation.
So tune in on Beacon, Twitch, YouTube, and eBay Live at 5 p.m. Pacific as we shop till we drop.
Fantastic. Heck yeah. Love it. And Travis, I think you're stepping into Laura's seat.
Oh my God, you guys. We have some of the best, I love it, merch.
So good.
New in the shop. Here, hold this up. The Essex Thailus knit pullover sweater vest.
Already got mine.
The Caleb Widowgast button-down long-sleeve shirt are both available in the Critical Role shops. The Essex Thailus knit pullover sweater vest is a deep dark purple with rich purple lilac and cool gray details, plus a ribbed hem, cuffs, and a collar for that cozy yet stylish feel. The design and the colors of this super cool vest are inspired by Essek Thalis. And of course, the Caleb Widowgast button-down long-sleeve shirt. It's a dark purple long-sleeve button-down with the quote, "You were not born with venom in your veins," embroidered in gold along the edge of the left collar. Look at it right there. This button-down was inspired by Caleb's level 10 coat and his bright flame magic. Both are available up to size 6XL.
Whoa.
Get them in the crit roll shot. They look amazing. Woo! Oh my God.
Thanks, Laura.
These two pieces of clothes look like they go together.
They do. You can layer it. You absolutely
It's
can.
as if they thought about
They also
that.
look like they go with Talison's hair.
Everything goes with my hair.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And if it doesn't, the hair will change.
That's true.
Yep. All right, I think that concludes our announcements. So thank you for hanging in. Let's jump back together into Ahriman.
Hello, and welcome to tonight's episode of Critical Role. We return to the city of Dolmakyar, where our schemers table, we're off to a hot start, gang. Boy, howdy. People are getting tracked to their homes, and there's secret people. People have very different apartments from each other, and that's fun to me. I love that. How often do you get to see a D&D character's apartment? Not enough, that's what I say. That's how I feel. Last we left off, after the events of Thiazi Fang's execution and his wake, those left behind as soldiers and seekers left the city to seek and soldier elsewhere were our four most employed heroes.
Team employment.
Team employment.
It's a living.
It's a living. After your first conspiratorial get-together at the Seven Stars Tavern, after realizing that the Lady Cormorant was interested in the Pariah Blades, and the Lord Einfassen had dismissed half the Revolutionary Guard or more, and Tuconis had come in on top of the Penteveril installing Dean Cora Keplin Vicerec, and the body of Thiazi Fang had been, had resulted in all of this attention and fanfare in the week or some odd preceding the arrival of Mirzad, the arrival of the play that you will unveil with the beginnings of the Hallowed Round, a brand new theater here in this space. You began your conversation in the aviary of the Seven Stars, an old tavern within the Rookery, where indeed you actually overheard the arrival of some gentry who had been to the gala at the Palazzo Davinos, a place that all of you had entered in the dead dark of night to find a melted black and silver candle after a massacre had occurred and been cleaned up as though it had never happened at all. It seemed that people had arrived to discover an illusory gala and that the Royce, the sundered house of Royce, had returned to Fairy. That's cool, except for the weeping family members of staff and servants wondering where their family members had gone. Had they been absconded to Fairy without a word's notice? Very peculiar. You spoke to Horace Blade, who was a partygoer there that you knew as a merchant, someone you had met through circles of your hero's mother, Elodie, your daughter's mother. You knew Horus as a merchant, a hardworking Dolmakyar merchant who helped you figure out the mystery of your spell glyphs and the fact that Thiazi's escape glyph, even though it had been a fake and would have doomed him to death, he had never actually seemed to break. Why didn't he? Horus led you through a deep analysis based on a lot of insight he has into ceramics and magic crafting. That basically the one that Thimble had was janky and made by criminals and had a little fairy edge to it, but in being janky was true blue. That was a real Misty Step glyph, which, by the way, means that you guys do have a Misty Step glyph.
I have it.
The really nice looking one that was extremely expensive, that was the dud. That was the one made to seem like a Misty Step glyph, thus that it could bypass Azune's detection and rest without the ability to actually do so in Thiazi's coat. Questions abound, but Horus also lets you, Horus also lets you know that a bunch of these tablets had gone missing.
Of the jankies.
Actually, so yes, this Orus blade, that his families, that Hand and Wheel, which is the name of his ceramics company, he let you know that Hand and Wheel had a bunch of blanks go missing. That basically had the ability to, they were finally made enough. They were made of the right materials and with the right arcane components to receive a spell. But on their way to being made, they got knocked over and a bunch of blanks were taken. These are basically, this is the equivalent of like stealing Sudafed, right? Like basically they went in and like, oh, we're gonna grab the blanks and then we'll make our own spells on them, right? Those have gone missing. And the janky one appeared to be someone doing a quick and dirty on one of those stolen blanks. Yeah. You also realized that you had seen the symbol of Hand and Wheel before on the amphora of paints delivered by Bolaire to the Hallowed Round, currently being used to paint the theater, that had been mentioned as one of the last mental statements of Thiazi Tuhal in his dying moments. You took off from the Seven Stars after talking about all the things you needed to do. You talked about Bettine Tukon, you talked about Romina Roundtree, a maid of the Einfasen, who's a sister of one of your company members. You talked about getting together the guard. We have to act. We have to act. You talked about going and making nice with Dean Cora. And indeed, the following, before we get to the following morning, arriving back at Hal's home, you met Lord Felonius Halevar as Azune, invited to stay with Hal, decided to stand guard and successfully turned what was an extremely dangerous encounter into one of the Lords Halevar, after wishing you a soon-to-be happy candle feast, believes you to be a man of faith.
I am indeed.
And looked at you and said, "Good man." You spent the night in Hal's home, a tearful moment of processing that Thiazi is truly gone, and of course all of the terror that now befalls you. You spent the night there. The following morning, you headed out. You began your morning by finding Varian Cadorn at the Falcon's Rest, at the memorial to those that died in the Falcon's Rebellion. And told him basically, he said that, I've been guarding for one of the vassal houses of House Royce. We're getting crazy notice. There might have been arrests. Something's going on. Am I in trouble? And you basically said, we all need to get together. Something's afoot, and you should quit, and we should all get together and start working against this. You also discover Murray went and had a heart-to-heart with Dean Cora. God in her good graces, amazingly.
We're besties now.
We're besties now. Wherein she agreed with a letter that Bolaire had written, talking about an internship program, and that people should come, students of the Penteferal should come work. And Cora, knowing the Cormorae's special interest in the Arcanaud, thought that was a brilliant idea and gave you a big stack of applicants and said, get it sorted by the end of the day.
Right.
And told you to hire some TAs with a small stipend, but not to hire Demidus Blix, who missed his class this morning.
Yeah.
How odd. Demodus being a well-known wizard at the Penteveral who's beloved by all, real kid with a lot of school spirit, who had to finance his own way at the school and did so with a lot of performing in Obermark Marketplace, or the Obermark Marketplace before that was made illegal. Bolaire had a not a heart-to-heart, but had a tense exchange with Makmaz Gelfidar, who essentially talked about the Saladin wing and the switching of the wings, or the idea that the Saladin and Lloy wing would have a big uprooting of all their artifacts, and talked about, the wind is blowing one way. Are we going to do the right thing and be brave? Makmaz says, I refuse to be brave, but I will talk to you and tell you what's happening. Azune was called to the Palazzo Davinos to investigate this strange Royce absconding to Ferry. I know. So much happened in one episode. This is all one episode. Schemer is not. There's the aptly named Schemer's table. Hal had a morning full of errands. Disguised as an older orc carting his dead brother's body in a wheelbarrow, made like 4 stops on the way.
First stop, I dropped him off.
First time you dropped him off, with Olgood saying, "Hang tight, my man. Can you go bury my brother real quick?" And Olgood was taking him up to the cemetery near where your father is buried.
Just have a carpool lane, so you do what you can.
You then talk to your fight choreographer Inez Roundtree, saying, "I think we should talk to your sister tonight, who works for the Einfassen," starting to pull threads, and then you headed to the Grey Library in Marud, where Berendra Moss, an elder bullfolk librarian, helped you try to find anything about magic masks and what the history of that might be, which directed you to a book in the library, Visages of Creation, a book that no longer is on the shelves. Fun. You stepped out to see the arrival of a massive entourage bearing 3 red hounds on a white field, the flag of Timony, announcing the arrival of King Augustus Valian, who's nowhere to be found. They don't know where he is. Announced by a faithful hound who could speak in Kahadi. We return. What a recap. We return. We return to the Arcanod, the massive museum here in the heart of Dolmakyar, wherein Bolaire is hard at work after his meeting with Makmaz, and where our friend Murray Magnesson has just arrived with a big stack of papers. Where would Murray find Bolaire here?
Well, this moment I would probably be in my above board office, which is out in the open in the room where everybody's working, working on paperwork. Very frustrated. I don't know if you would look at what I'm doing, but I'm clearly angry and very delicately trying to do something.
Murray, you just hear.
What is this?
Bureaucracy.
Oh, that's been in a file forever.
Yeah.
What sort of bureaucracy?
I sort of, I pitched the idea that we should work together, the Arcanod and the Penteveral. Dean Cora loved it. And so now we have to pick some interns, or I have to pick some interns. I guess it's not really on you, but I have to pick some interns by the end of the day. Because, nothing like a bureaucrat who has absolutely no idea of, how much time work actually fucking takes. But these are a bunch of students, from the Arcanod. I can also pick a couple of teacher's assistants. But if you want interns, Here they are.
I'm going to idly start flipping through a few. I'm going to very irritatingly put what I'm working on down and start idly flipping through the first few.
As you begin to flip through the first few, if you're sort of doing it half-heartedly, go ahead and give me investigation with disadvantage.
Be a 16.
You look through on a 16, and I think on a 16 investigation, not all of these applications are created equal. You see a handful in the early version. There are a few students that just seem to be overeager, and this you can just tell from the scrawl that this is like the fourth application to some extracurricular that they had made. But I think on a 16, you find one or two that actually seem to. I think you just see some terminology, some like, oh, you're not casually interested in artifacts. This is actually like something that you have a little bit of either passion about or education in. But I think on a 16, you don't find what you would consider a slam dunk.
I'm just rolling through a few of them.
Yeah.
Well.
You have like any water?
Yes.
Or wine?
No. Well, yes, but not here.
All right.
There's water in the corner.
Yeah, sack papers.
We have to have a quick conversation about this.
Okay. I come have a kid get
Hydrated, whatever it is you people do.
All right, what's the conversation?
Well, the question is going to be chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want controlled chaos, or do we want uncontainable chaos? Controlled chaos means we get more of what we want, but it will be easier to discover that we're a problem. Uncontrolled chaos means we get less of what we want, but
it's off of our hands if shit goes wrong.
Completely.
I don't know if that latter is necessarily the case, however, because if anything goes bad, it's going to be on my ass.
Well,
whether it's controlled or uncontrolled.
Well, that's the thing, is if things go bad and it is on your ass, we will have failed anyway. If things go bad and everything goes well, it won't matter, will it? In for everything or in for nothing. This may end very poorly.
What exactly do you have in mind? I mean, personally, I would be willing to hedge my bets a little bit more on having some inside men. Some students that we can inscript in our cause. Intelligent students.
I would say, let's not take too much time on this list. I think
I don't have that much time. I've got to the end of the workday. I've got so much other shit I have to do.
Clearly you are going to need wine. What we should do is just take a quick flow through, find people that we know to be, you know these people. Just forthright. People that you trust would not betray the damage that this is going to cause. People, hopefully, who are not parts of moneyed families. And then maybe a smaller list of absolute idiots.
I'm gonna do a quick look through the papers myself.
Cool.
Is Hal's daughter in there? Hero, right? She's the one who's at the...
Hero, yeah.
Is Hero
Youngest.
in there?
Hero studies at the Pentavral, correct? This is Hero.
In the list of applicants, is she in there?
Go ahead and give me investigation.
I'm firing up the island.
Would you like advantage if I helped give this away?
Yes, you can do this with advantage.
No, she's 18.
Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
She's 18.
Okay. That's gonna be 13.
I think that with this is a very recent process to be able to sort of apply to.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Hal? Do you think Hero, would you have encouraged Hero to apply for extracurriculars during time at the Pentavral, or to dedicate herself to her core studies?
I think that she probably kept on her own track, to be honest.
You do not find Hero's application on a 13.
That's all right. I can make a special request, but I feel like it would be inappropriate before talking to Hal about it.
I agree. You know who else is in this stack? And I'm very suspicious of it. Do you know Diminus Blick?
Do I know?
Kind of nerdy kid who used to
wouldn't
busk in the marketplace?
We are going to flash back. We are going to flash back.
What? I love flashback.
I love a flashback. Bolaire, this is maybe only a year or two ago. It is a bustling, busy day in the Ogremont marketplace. You are walking home to your apartment. Your apartment actually overlooks this area. There's street performers everywhere. You look and see sort of facing a crowd, standing up on not just a soapbox, but like a soapbox on an apple crate. There's like to get up high enough. A handsome young gnomish man, darkish brown skin. He's got like a sort of almost like ice cream swirl of foopy hair that goes up. He's got a little blue jacket and a sharp vest. Stands up and goes, "One and all, ladies and gentlemen, all comers and goers, please your attention, please. My name is Diminus Blix, and I am an illusionist of the Penteveral, Dolmacher's very own Academy of what? Wizardry. That's right, you heard it here, folks. Not sorcery, not anything else of the kind, but wizardry itself. And I come to you as a proud and recent graduate of the School of Illusion. Now, illusion, you may ask, what powers does it have? With my studies, this candle, and you see he snaps a finger and a candle lights. Goes, this candle will be turned from its dull, mundane yellow flame to a flame of a different color. One and all. You see, he looks out and goes, he says, that's right, this yellow candle will be made blue before your very eyes, but folks, magic isn't cheap. That's right, it takes money. Real miracles cost currency, and the currency of this kingdom is coin. So please dig deep, as I will be doing to Arcane. As this happens, people scream as a wagon parts and a dragon moves its head through a pair of curtains at a fruit stand across the way. People are, it's a massive head as this spiral-eyed, glittering dragon goes, "You're telling me that you can change the color of a candle? Why, for all my riches I would give a dragon's hoard!" And you see he goes, "I don't need your riches because you're fake." That's right, folks. Bam! And the illusion of the dragon vanishes into his hand. We're not interested in fake gold, all right? We're interested in real gold for real illusions. Folks, the dragon is but a work of magic. The gold is fake, but the illusions are real. Genuine mirages, bona fide figments, all fictions factual. But first, I gotta see some silver gold. I'll take a copper if you like. This kid. You see that, and his act is again these incredibly remarkable illusions of very like stereotypically wealthy monsters trying to pay him, and him going, "I can't take your money. I'm making you up." Bam! As the illusion fades, as he hypes people up to see this very low rent candle trick.
Oh dear. I am going to walk up and I would say very publicly take out 5 gold and drop them in the hat, I assume, whatever hat it is.
Wow.
You drop 5 gold in the hat, and you can see that there are a number of other like street performers around. It's like a busy sort of thoroughfare. You drop 5 gold into a small hat that is filled with, you know, a few copper, maybe like a silver piece he put in there to suggest that you could put a silver piece in there. And
I think I'm probably pretty well known for overtipping buskers anyway.
As he does that, you see that he sort of wraps up his or like you do that. He goes, "Hey, thank you. This gentleman right here is a real patron of the arts, sir. And I see that you wear a fine mask yourself. I have something of an interest in facades and appearances, and may I say, yours quite dashing."
Thank you, young sir.
What's your name, kind sir?
Bolaire, it's a pleasure. What is your name?
Demetus Blix. You see, he looks around, and as sort of the crowd begins to disperse, he hops off and goes over and says, "Hey, sorry." Takes the cap and goes, "This is quite a sum. Are you? I don't mean to. This is a lot of money."
Yes, well, that's a lot of talent.
I really don't. I really don't. Well, do you would it help you if you knew how I was going to use it, or do I owe you anything for?
I understand that this sort of thing can feel like a debt. It's inevitable. How about we have a cup of coffee and we discuss your future, because you are quite talented. You're very young, and you need polishing. I would be curious what are your thoughts for your future?
I found where I want to spend the rest of my life. The Penteveril is the best place in Ahriman. School gave me everything. If I can be lucky enough to, I don't know, help put a word of power together, or find something, or even just teach other kids like me how to do this. I love this. I love these illusions, like they're not real, but they're realer than everything starts as an illusion first.
Fascinating.
Coffee sounds great. And hey, I'll treat you because you've been more than generous.
Well, at least I know that you know how to spend money well.
You see, he smiles. The next time you walk through the marketplace seeing him perform, you see that his tiny little soapbox made of this like plywood that he's only not breaking because he's a 3.5 foot tall gnome, has a tiny inscription in an that has been put illusorily there, but permanently so. It's like an enchantment on the box. And it's very funny because it's just a tiny little soapbox, and written on it is a sort of laughing mask with gold coins around it. And his soapbox now says, the Bolaire Center for Performing Arts.
Lord.
Oh my God.
I will definitely keep dropping 1 gold coin every time I pass. And we would have definitely at this point had a few conversations about when he's ready, what I can do to help secure his future in the Penteveril. God save anyone who wishes to be a teacher.
We return to this present moment in the Arcanaut as you hear Murray speaking of Demetus Blix.
Demetus Blix, little gnome guy. Not really like the most terse individual. He's a little bit like verbose in his presentation.
I'm well aware.
Okay. He's gone. He didn't show up for class, and that is not like Demetus. Demetus is like Mr. School Spirit. He shows up. I don't think that kid's ever even been sick in his life, or at least if he has been sick.
When was the last?
He's gotten everybody else sick because he still shows up.
When was the last time I saw him busking?
Before they made it illegal.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta track him down. I don't know.
That is very disturbing.
I think it's give me we'll call it, it's sort of like a luck check, but we'll call it a history check.
Mm-hmm. Straight up?
Yeah.
Got a 20.
You talked with him one time after it was made illegal. You had enough of like a coffee date. There was a way for him to reach you, and you remember him just saying, "Yeah, not being able to perform is tough, but I think there's some other way. There's like other ways to make some money, and you've been so generous in the past, and there's I'll find a way. there's job postings. I'm gonna go talk to Dean Tallbarrel and put myself up for like some job postings, because sometimes people will come in and like contract to the school, but the school doesn't really do that. But they'll like make recommendations to grad students if they want to take the work. So I'll figure something out. You know, you just gotta stay up. And you see that there's a tiny little chameleon familiar on his shoulder.
I would know how to get a hold of him, I assume.
Yeah, you would know where he stays at the Pentagon.
And I'm sure I would have started figuring out how to anonymously make sure that his situation was maintained.
Mm-hmm. I think on that history check, your ability to move funds to him was, you have obviously enough income that you can help support him, but with the loss of that performance space, it's not that he would starve, but his studies, his tuition, that's
buy books,
like
that type of a thing. Yeah,
material components. So there was he knew that due to your support, he wouldn't have to go hungry. But it's possible that his dreams were larger than just not going hungry.
I'm sure I would have been looking into some sort of process to make sure that he maintained his school one way or another, and in ways that would not indebt him to me or feel like, you know, such a thing.
I don't like it. Maybe we can run a quick errand, knock on his door.
I would very, very much appreciate that. My name is, will get you far with him if you don't know him particularly well.
I know him all right. I mean, he was a part of our grant program, more or less. I mean, the kid didn't have a cent to his name.
I'm well aware.
He was in my office quite a lot, make sure that he could continue his studies, but...
He was very talented. It was. What have you done to me? Oh.
What?
He is very talented.
Me? What?
Oh, I'm terrified of the bloody future now.
Oh my God. Is this empathy? That I'm seeing behind this glossy facade?
Oh, no.
You care?
No, darling.
Oh.
This is empathy that you're seeing in front of this glossy facade. I love empathy, always have.
Azune, you are also quite near the Arcanaut right now.
I am.
You've been called to the Palazzo Davinos. You're with your detail. Your detail. What are you doing at this present moment?
Well, from the Brethren Hall towards the Palazzo Davinos, it's a little bit of a walk, and I know the Arcanaut is not far away.
Yeah.
Been clocking my detail after the speech I gave them and this sort of lukewarm, hard-to-read response I got from them afterwards. And in my mind, I am feeling like it's burning in my pocket. The active glyph, the one with Misty Step on it. I'm going to turn to my detail and I'm going to say, everyone, I know that we have an assignment towards the Palazzo Davinos to investigate it. We need a quick detour towards the Arcanaut. There's some unfinished business that's very pressing that I need to take care of first. Follow me.
The detail falls in behind you, and I think Murray and Bolaire, you see towards your sort of more public office. Are there notes being passed in class?
Naughty.
Share it with the rest of them.
You have gum. I hope you brought enough for everybody.
Yes. Read it out loud.
Read it out. Read your joke out loud.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
He thought me slapping down the stack of papers was my titties.
Oh my goodness!
He thought it was Murray's tits.
Oh, that's paper.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you read that out loud?
It made a very strange sound.
That stack is about as thick as Murray's ass, so it's not that far out.
Unbelievable.
My goodness.
Well,
Azune, you end up walking in about this time in the conversation. Azune, you enter and join with Bolaire. And,
Okay. And I would have left my detail waiting for me outside.
Cool.
I come in, I see you, Bolaire, and you can see on my face, I'm so fucking glad to see you here as well. Oh, okay, two of you, great.
Hi. I'm just kind of like, as he shows up, like kind of going through these papers and...
And I'm back to clearly, delicately, and frustratingly attempting to... Well, I don't know if anyone's looked at what I'm doing, but
How free am I to speak here? Is this are we to be spied upon here?
No, I think I look around. There's just the people who work directly with me, and while I haven't told them everything yet, they are aware that shit's going down.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I won't take up too much of your time, but I just, Bolaire, I have some stuff that I need to give you. I've been assigned.
I was so bored.
Oh, well, and I start to search through my pockets, and I'm searching for the glyph that I got from Thimble.
Yeah.
The false one.
Yeah.
And the candle.
Yes.
And the other one that I got from Oris that has been split into the used up one. And while I'm searching for all that stuff, I say to the both of you, Lord Iyengar has tasked me with investigating the Palazzo Davinos. My detail of arcane marshals is waiting for me outside, and I don't know what's going to be waiting for me there. But I know that I don't want, and this is when I hand you the glyph with the Misty Step. I know that with a team of arcane marshals...
Yeah, you don't want them to find that on you.
I don't want them to. So I'll give you the Misty Step glyph, the false one that doesn't ping any magic. And I pull out the candle that we used.
Yeah.
And I give that to you.
Whoa. What are you gonna do? I mean, you're in a position of power in this situation. Are you gonna report the truth?
I'm gonna report something, and that's when I hand to you 1/2 of that split glyph.
Cool.
That has had any markings, recognizable markings, kind of scraped off of it.
Cool.
I hand you 1/2. The other half, I'm going to find there as evidence of something that went amiss. My plan, hopefully, is that we can find a way to inscribe on these something that implicates House Daconis. And the half that you have, well, you can plant that on somebody. This is going to be evidence.
On who? On a Daconis?
On a Daconis? Preferably. Someone that we can, at some point, maybe a gala, they'll be put in a position where I can find it on them.
What makes you think that even if you implicate the Daconises in this, that anyone in the Sundered Houses is even going to listen to you?
Well, if I've built up enough evidence, enough of a case, this is just one other thing to add to that list. I want them to suspect each other, and Iyengar is someone that I'm going to be talking to on the regular. If I can give him evidence of something that he's unaware of, then that's going to at least plant the seed of suspicion. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person that wants to be left out of the loop. He speaks of collaboration. I need to convince him that the collaboration has been uneven.
All right.
It doesn't have to happen today.
I mean, it's a gamble. I think like any type of like just judiciary due process is pretty much out the window. You know that, right?
I do.
The only way that you're gonna get Iyengar to listen to you is if you like convince them that somehow the Daconises are targeting the Iyengar.
I intend to do that. I met with Varen Cadorn, my contact, and it looks like that part of what I hoped to do is in motion now. There's going to be a number of people joining the the other Sundered Houses, working for us.
All right, that's good.
The Royce, House Royce, and a lot of their vassal houses have been targeted out beyond Dalmakyar. Look, I can give you the full update when we're all together, but they're waiting for me.
All right. Do you need anything from me before you go? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I give you something? What do I have? What
I
can I
don't
do?
know what I'm going to find there, and I wouldn't mind having other eyes and ears. Colleagues of mine are welcome to work alongside me. Bolaire.
Yes?
How good are you at trickery? Can you impersonate a Taconis?
As long as they're not too well known.
Can you impersonate a specter of a Taconis? Or do you have any of that kind of trickery? I would love for the arcane marshals working under me to leave the Palazzo Davinos thinking that they saw something terrifying that suggested something very terrible happened there.
I know a really great illusionist, but he just happens to be missing at the time.
Great to see. Well, if you can, wherever you go next, pass by the Palazzo Davinos.
I can give you a little magic mouth situation on one of those runes that you can trigger to your liking. That's about all I can do right now.
I don't think I have. I don't have another blank rune. I don't have anything to put that on.
Would we have a blank rune? Probably not.
I mean, you don't even need a rune. You can put it on a coin theoretically and trigger it as you need.
Then
right?
I will hand you a coin if that's the case.
Okay. I've never done this before. How does magic mouth work?
And I'm looking. I think I can definitely trick one person. I'm trying to see if I'm double checking to see if I can do something to a group of people.
Okay.
Set a circumstance, I think.
You said a circumstance. Which could the circumstance be whenever Azune wants it to be? Imagine that if a person recites a message in my voice at the same volume as I spoke. I could try to sound like a Tacona. I'm Lord Primus Taconis. Does that sound like him?
Not much.
One more. Try more acting.
Oh boy.
Or less.
Do it, but mean it.
Wait, already no. Less acting. Less acting. No. No. Try mime.
Interpretive dance.
Well, I feel better already. There's nothing I can do to a crowd, but I can do quite a bit if you give me access to an individual. Yes, I can do some truly terrible things.
Okay. I will split us up into pairs, and I will take the person that goes with me towards the west wing of the Davinos estate.
Wait, what's the plan?
We need to convince them that they saw something. An echo of what happened there. A specter that tells them that House Taconis obliterated Royce and Davinos. That conversation needs to begin out in the world, in private, in public. Rumors. I need someone that's not me to return to the Brethren Hall claiming that they have evidence or saw a vision that Taconis did terrible things there.
That will not be hard. I will just need access to somebody with, I'll need access to somebody with, inscrutable, credentials. Someone who would never lie.
Okay.
Somebody with power. But in the meantime, I have forgery to work on, and it's going poorly. It occurs to me that a significant chunk of this collection, or at least a small portion of it, could, in theory, belong to the Lloyd family. And so with just a couple pieces of paperwork, instead of maintaining the collection, a bunch of it would go back to them.
Well, now you're going on to topics that are a little bit above my head.
I've got some minor illusion I can try and I can roll with you and be invisible and just try and figure some shit out if you want to be like spooky about it.
Take care of whatever you need to take care of. That sounds like it's a viable plan. What you suggested, I think, sounds viable. I have to return to them before
And
they
then
start
what,
to
we
wonder.
meet you at House Primus?
At House
Taconis?
Davinos.
Charles Davinos!
Palazzo Davinos. It's not far from here.
Shit. All right.
You can.
All right.
I know we all have a lot on our minds, and a lot to take care of. I must go. And I'll excuse myself from the two of you.
Azune, you take off to rejoin your detail and head to the Palazzo Davinos, leaving Murray and Bolaire behind with a quickly tightening set of conspiratorial circumstances. Up at the Grey Library, Hal, you leave having found this unfortunate dead end, and you see a sort of a cavalcade. There are horses and carriages and a lot of like hounds running around in the sort of the courtyard of the Grey Tower. You see this speaking hound, this kind of broad-chested, muscular little fox-like dog looking around being like, His Majesty? Anyone? Eyes on His Majesty? And you see that a carriage opens, and there is a beautiful older woman, her hair tied back in one of those like gold beaded and braided nets, like the sort of medieval nets, and a small bonnet above her head, a dress of sort of white and cream orange that sort of comes around her, looking out, and she looks out and says, has anyone seen Gus anywhere? You see that Martin says, Your Highness, I'm afraid not. And just sort of see the scene unfolding of a confused-looking regional entourage.
So I've just randomly walked out of the library after hours, and a retinue has arrived, and they announced him, and he's nowhere to be seen. Can I ask, has he ever been here? Is this beyond out of the ordinary that King Gus would be here in
Give me a history check.
All right. That's 21.
21. The King Augustus Valian has never before made his way to Dol Makyar to speak to the Revolutionary Council. But you would know on a 21 that Timony has only been a kingdom for a very short time. It was formerly a part of Argosia, and they won their independence during the War of Axe and Vine. Your brother and you were fighting in the east across the pass, but to the north of Dol Makyar, your sort of nearest neighbor, Timony won its independence during that war. On a 21, you had always heard rumors that King Gus would have fought in the Falcons' Rebellion, save for the sad fact that he was already a king and could only oppose himself. That was sort of the joke. That within the context of his traveling here, I think on a 21 history, you're maybe not sure exactly why he's traveling here, but there are regional caravans that come through Dol Makyar all the time. It's the seat of the Revolutionary Council. It's the home of the victory of the Shapers' War, right? There's a lot of reasons to want to come here. On a 21, is there anything in particular that you're interested in knowing about this retinue and what they might be doing here?
Well, I just wanted to get a grasp, like roleplay wise, if this kind of thing, am I seeing an alien land essentially?
Gotcha. You are not seeing an alien land. You may never have seen one of the Hounds of the King before, but no, this appears to be, and as you're seeing, you are very much a bystander witnessing this event unfold as you walk past. I think that you, on a 21, I'll say that this sort of comical scene of a retinue that somehow has lost its king. I think a 21 is a high enough history roll that you know part of the history of Timony is that Gus was believed to be a bastard, but was actually a trueborn. That part of what happened with him was he was raised by the kennel masters of the Lord, his father, and ended up opposing him. So he was raised sort of in and amongst commoners before he became king. So, in other words, no royal born to royalty would just peel off into a city.
Right.
But you're dealing with someone that would feel probably...
So it's like a young Prince Hal.
Yeah.
Who, mixed with Falstaff and the rest. I think because it is so out of the ordinary, I'm going to sort of hang in the crowd a bit and see if I can, at the very least, lay eyes on this king if I wait a bit. If time passes, do they wait for him to arrive, or...?
Give me a perception check. You can do so with advantage.
Okay.
Because you're waiting and being patient.
That's a 19, and that is the roll, so the perception check is 23.
23! An extremely elegant greyhound lopes over towards this sort of area. It's a long, sort of like fast-looking dog. Walks up, looking at the crowd, addressing those of you that are looking at the retinue, and says, "Good morrow to all of you, and deepest and sincerest regards from this, the retinue of King Augustus Vale. I am sorry to address you so plainly in this manner. Have any of you seen a dashing and handsome king astride a white steed?" And you see that the fox-like dog from the carriage goes, "Cavalier, don't do that! Don't do that!" And runs over and says, "It's fine, thank you for your time, one and all, those of you fine citizens of Dolmakyar."
We're looking at the king right now? That's what's going on right now?
He looks at you and says, "You're looking at the king? No. If I was the king, I'd get my way from time to time around here. But no, I don't. Instead, I'm out here cleaning up the mess. Handless, I might add. Thank you very much for your time, sir."
Well, good sir, whoever you may be, welcome to Dolmakyar. You are well met.
"I am Sir Martin. It's a pleasure, my friend." And you see that the greyhound looks up at you and smiles and says, "I am Sir Cavalier. It is a pleasure. And what might I call you, fine friend?"
"Oh, you can call me Hallandil Fang."
"Hallandil Fang." Well, and you see that Martin turns around and says, "Hallandil Fang? The performer, the playwright."
"I humbly admit my place in the streets of this city, yes. You're actually coming, I don't know if your business here is fell or fair, but if you have some time in the city, we are on the verge of ushering in a new work in a little over a week here in the city. So if you are staying for a while, let me humbly invite you to the Hallowed Round."
"The Hallowed Round. Well, we're here on some pressing business, and I don't know that we'll..." See, Cavalier looks at you and says, "Your play, is it one of heroes and of good deeds, of true love, where good conquers evil and night is banished by the light of day?"
"It's a story of taking a stand."
You see that a Cavalier goes up on his hind legs with his paws up. "Splendid. I would love to see this play." You see Martin goes, "Yes, if we have time. It's opening tonight?"
We're about a week off.
Too
far off for you?
"Yes, certainly. Well, that's not my call to make, His Majesty. If he wants to stay in the city and leave Timmins Rock unattended in the midst of strife for a week or several weeks, then that's fine."
I'll tell you what, I'll make you an offer. I'll make you an offer out of pocket.
Good to be the king.
I own the show, I own the place. I get to make the decisions. If you only have a night or two, swing by the Hallowed Round, ask for me by name, and we'll have some of the company give just a private performance.
You see, as he says that, he says, "I will be sure." The lady of the carriage, sort of older woman, walks over and says, "Sir Cavalier, Sir Martin, are you, to whom are you speaking?" You see that Cavalier says, "This is Hallandil Fang." And you see she looks and says, "Oh, Mr. Fang, it's a pleasure." You see that Martin looks up and says, "Hallandil Fang has recently come into possession of the Hallowed Round, which was one of the, when we were speaking of the Creed earlier, and their, we understand that you have won a deed of title to a quite significant religious location, or at least once was.
It has great historic value here in the city, and it has been a long time coming. I've worked a better part of my life to get to this moment. So I have.
You see that she says, "Congratulations to you, sir. I'm sorry you find us at a bit of a puzzlement here. We are, as ever, we have come apart at the seams, I'm afraid.
It is all not well, my lady.
Oh, it is. Give me an insight check.
$18.
She is trying to mask. The thing that she's presenting to you is this is the sort of bumbling circus of a small regional power that has come to the great metropolis of Dol Makyar to speak to the Revolutionary Council. Underneath that is a genuine chaos, not a funny one. They have come here. They've come here hurriedly. The degree to which, even with the pomp and circumstance and the armored knights and everything else, she is trying to sort of hand wave in that way you do when you're like, I'm scruffy, it's been crazy. And you're like, yeah, you haven't showered in like 2 weeks. That way that it's the hand wave over the deeper thing. She, challenging times. Might I ask, and here she looks up and you see that Martin kind of looks to her and she says, I had not put together until just this moment. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Oh, that's kind of you, thank you. Tumultuous times all around here in the city and abroad.
You see, she says, well, and Martin says, yes, you see that the dog, on that insight check, the dog is a little agitated by how loudly and clearly she just says, I'm sorry for your loss. And she looks and says, well, should your play or your troupe ever travel, I hope you make it as far as Timmins Rock. I am the Duchess Lisabetta, the king's sister. And you see a young sort of like 11-year-old boy comes over smiling and bows very astutely and says, hello, sir. And she says, and this is the young Prince Rowan.
Oh, I bow to this.
You see that he returns it with a head nod, and she sort of pats him. And you see he looks and says, am I supposed to bow back? You said this was a free city, and we're not. And you see she looks and says, we may always bow. And you see that she pats him on the head and nods hers as well. If I might ask a favor, my brother, the king, will certainly ask where good drink, good conversation, and good company might be had in the city. My brother is very wary of hearing news only from the ministers and viziers of state.
Wise to keep company in a variety of places. I do know a little place off the beaten path. If you guys are able to make your way about the city with some discrepancy, you can try the 7 Stars.
She smiles and says, and they serve ale here at the 7 Stars?
Oh, do they? Yes, they do.
Very charmed, Mr. Fang. I must attend to our retinue, as we will have to present to the council Sans monarch. But,
they are chaotic times, but as long as we keep a hold of our hearts and his voice reverberates on that single word, we will make it through. And I give her bardic inspiration.
She touches a hand to her chest and says, "All right, come on, my sweetheart," and gives the young prince a kiss on the head as they hold hands and walk out from the retinue.
Actually, hey, don't forget. I wink at him and say, kindness is free.
He smiles and nods his head to you as well.
I bow again.
And they walk off. You see the Cavalier turns to you, nods as well, says, "A good man," and walks away. Martin looks and says, "Thank you for your advice. The 7 stars, this is in the Rookery, correct?"
That is correct.
"I'll review the maps of the city. Thank you." And you see that the tired little sort of fox-like dog wanders off. And you see the retinue makes their way into the Revolutionary Council.
Hal respects these dogs so highly, but I just want to squash them.
Who's a good hand of the king?
Yeah.
Who's a good hand of the king? You are.
You are. Oh. Just put him on dog, working his ass off. Hal, after that, where do you make your way to?
I did a bunch of errands, so I think I will just go. I know we want to check out these paints, and we're all going to compare notes, so I will try to get to the hallowed round first and be ready.
Hell yeah.
Make sure we have privacy.
You get to the hallowed round. Go ahead, if you'd be so kind, and give me a performance check as you get there, just in terms of like engaging with the work of your day.
Sure. That is a 24.
24, very high. This play's coming together. You, as you get there, you see Shadia looks up and waves and says, "Morning, Dad," and gives you a kiss. See her hands are stained with paint and she's off, working all over. You see over in a corner, she's actually taken a break from painting everything to get the street troops together, get like the crier teams together for like going out and actually like getting people like
barking.
Bringing people in. So it's like a little bit more than a week to go. Time to like get people psyched for the big opening night.
I think, seeing whoever is here scurrying about, I will walk down to the center of the round and say, "Everyone, can I get your attention for a second? I just want to say I know how hard you all have been working. I have no doubt that we will get there in a week. I can see how tired you all are. That's lunch. Please, on me. Everyone, make your way back to the Rookery. Go eat and don't come back for 3 hours, okay?"
Hey! These people, you see Shadi goes, "Whoa, really? Can we actually, is it okay to use some of that time to actually go plan some spots in the city that we're gonna like bark at and do stuff?"
The city is yours, as always.
Onward! And she just does a full like acrobatics, flip, spin, bam, lands, and takes off with her friends.
That's my kid.
Love a walk-away lunch.
She takes off. You see Nevada says, "Hal, you are such a darling to them. And I actually could use the time off. I don't know if you've heard about the Timony people, but I'll tell you what, these dogs are barking." And she says,
"Let me tell you, get yourself to the 7 stars if you want to look at royalty."
"Woo! My God, finally, my chance to marry up." She says, "By the way, whoever you've released lunch to," she looks out and says, "We've no word from Misha this morning."
Maybe I'll send a runner to his house. When's the last time you saw him?
Well, the last time I saw him, well, he was here at rehearsal yesterday.
Okay. I will add it to the to-do list. Go have a pint. Have a pint for me.
A pint shall be had.
Who's Misha?
Dramatis Arcana.
Yes, Dramatis Arcana. Sort of the magical technique.
Oh boy, this is looking bad.
For the theater.
Magic users going missing.
Yeah.
This is bad.
No.
I'll tell you later when you get here.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not.
Incredible. So, Azune, arriving at the Palazzo Davinos, you see that arcane marshals are present. You see that Herondis Einfassen is on the scene. You and your team.
He's there.
He's there.
Oh, shit.
Einfassen.
How many other arcane marshals are here in addition to my detail?
Only Einfassen's security are there. Yours is the only arcane marshal detail that has shown up.
Okay.
There are some other Revolutionary Guard, but very few, as most of them have been released. But basically, you're essentially the detectives arriving on the scene with people that have closed the perimeter.
Got it. Okay. As I approach, I am utterly aware of Einfassen, and I'm very sensitive to how he might regard me, the expression on his face. If it's sour, I'm really wanting to clock to see if he's...
Give me insight as you approach.
12.
He turns to you. He is regarding you with a smug condescension that you think overlays a little bit of suspicion and alarm.
Noted.
Lieutenant, I am pleased to see you have arrived. The palazzo has been cordoned off, and this purported disappearance to ferry, reopening of the door to those lands beyond wherein the fair folk dwell. We would like to get to the bottom of this at once. I have some sorceress ability myself, but not in the manner that might unveil certain questions. If you would be so kind as to avail yourself and your team of your unique abilities.
Of course, my lord. I have a plan in place. The four of us know what to do from here. Will you wait for us on the outside of the palazzo?
The outside, it is...
Or will you accompany us and come inside alongside us?
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous.
22.
He goes, the choice is mine. Is there an effect on the magic if we are present while you are conducting your investigation, or there are... what would you recommend, Lieutenant?
I'm going to approach him so that it's clearly just a private one-on-one moment. Well, my lord, at some point I was going to offer to you a bit of a hands-on look at how we do what we do, if that is of interest to you.
Then by all means, I would love to accompany you on your investigation.
Of the three that are with me, the speech that I gave to them before, Horus, Dala, and Grotto. Horus, not to be confused with Horus.
Yes.
Did I get a sense of one of them being less enthusiastic about what I was speaking about? Or was it just a sort of a general...
I think you didn't sense any large commitment from any of them of being against you or what you were saying.
Okay.
I think what you sensed was trepidation from people who view this as a job.
Like, I'm getting paid a minimum wage, man. Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
Dental.
Yeah.
Horus and Dala, you take the east wing. Grotto, you come with me. We'll explore the west. Activate everything that you have at your disposal. We're not just sensing magic in the traditional sense. I want you to open your eyes, your ears, everything you have to any echoes of anything that might have happened here.
Oh my god.
You see that they say, Lieutenant, and you watch as the arcane marshals here, again, dressed in the sort of armor of the Revolutionary Guard, Their eyes variously shimmer alight, and you see Herondis sort of looks at the flicker of magic in this space as the arcane marshals, warriors though they are, having these sort of innate magical gifts, begin to move through, casting both detect magic and using a kind of paladin's divine sense, a sort of mixture of actual spell casting with an intuitive, potent power sort of beyond that. Moving through the space, you see that, Horus and Dala take off, and Grotto accompanies you. Grotto accompanies you, along with the Lord Einfasen, who walks with you into the space. And you walk back in, and you see there are tables with some now kind of like sweaty cheese and things that have been put out. Now, the gala was like a day ago. You look and see the sort of the illusions have all faded and gone of the things that were, welcoming people to the gala and the disappearance of the Royce returning to Ferry. As you enter, do you want to make an actual, even though you have your own plans here, do you want to make your actual investigation check?
Oh, absolutely. And I will say to Lord Einfasen, it is important that you hang back, observe, and no matter what you see, if you see anything that seems peculiar in any of my, the members of the Arcane Marshals, just allow it to unfold. It's best if you don't use your own magic at this moment. It might interfere with what we do.
Understood. I don't want you to detect anything that would suggest that I was here or present on the night. I understand completely. Yes.
Thank you. And I'm going to... I don't have time to do the ritual, so I'm just going to activate Detect Magic.
You activate Detect Magic and begin to move through space. Go ahead and give me investigation with advantage.
Great. Ooh. A 20 on investigation.
A 20 on an investigation. The last time you were here, you went only so far as this big central chamber where the candle was. You found no bodies, no blood of any kind. You walk up into the West Wing, where you find some quarters that are, on a 20, a little bit unusual to you. Looking in this space, it's a small bedroom, little chamber. On a 20 investigation, you don't get any magic. You don't get any magic, which is unusual because there's a residue in the Palazzo Davinos from the presence of the Royces here for many, many years. It's sort of like people that smoke in a house and there's a residue on this.
Yes.
This room is clean. This is a clean room. And you look in the corner. You don't detect any magic at all. On a magician's level, this place looks fine. On an interior decorator's level, it's kind of a weird open spot in the sort of feng shui of the room. You look in a corner, there's a chair just sort of standing nearby that's been put up against the wall. That's clearly a chair that wants to be at a desk, and there's no desk here. Looking at the wall there's a lot of damage to the stone on the wall that has clearly been mended with a mending cantrip, but the mending cantrip can't fabricate more stone. So if something damaged this, it can patch things over, but you're just looking and being oh, this is if you blow a hole in a wall and you clean up the rubble and mend the wall, it'll be a thin little strip of the,
you can see the putty in the drywall.
You can see the putty in the drywall.
Yeah.
And there's a table in this room. And what you see in that table is it's a beautiful table, really finely made, with one glaring flaw in it. There's just a really ugly knife mark in the middle of the table, like someone drove a knife down hard into the table surface.
I am taking my time. First, looking at the wall and these sort of like marks, and kind of almost like CSI in my mind, seeing like what else could have been here. If there's like what looks like it could be a blast mark, was there something in the way, a body that would have absorbed some of it? I mean, almost as if I'm looking for like a person-shaped outline on the wall, but not quite that exaggerated, you know what I mean? Like anything that would have absorbed what could have caused that damage on the wall.
This is a funny one. I'll make it a low DC. I'll make it a DC 15. Give me a nature check.
Okay.
Which is not a skill I think you have, but it's only a DC 15.
Nature check.
Cool.
I mean, only a DC 15. It's not nothing.
Grotto will give you the help action.
Oh, yes.
Grotto can give you the help action here.
Oh, Grotto can.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. I will pull him in so that we're doing this together. I rolled the exact same thing. Oh, damn. Twice.
Hard to tell.
But is it hard to sell? So I'm going to spend some time there with Grotto, and I will whisper to him, there's something about this isn't tracking, and sometimes you can talk somebody into seeing something that is only barely there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to outline, and even with my finger, dig into the kind of what looks like the puttied over blast marks, the mended ones, and then more gently kind of wave in the area at the center of it. Something was in the way. Something happened here. You see that, right, Grotto? You see that this has been mended. Some violence has happened here.
Yeah, but they didn't have all of it to mend it back.
They didn't.
You see that Lord Einfassen says there has been some degree of magic in this room having to do with the structural integrity of the building?
It appears to be, yes. You see, my lord,
could this be the gate to Fairy here, if such a thing exists?
If it was the gate to Fairy, then it would be resonating with so much magical residue. And in fact, what's happening is the complete deadening of it.
Can you explain further?
A cover-up.
Give me a persuasion check again.
I'm going to use a luck point on this one.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
18.
18. He looks at you and goes, a cover-up.
That is what the walls are saying.
Are you saying that there is an absence that strikes you as conspicuous?
Absolutely. You see, when we entered the palazzo, there's a sort of residual hint in the atmosphere of magic that I would think we would expect from the Palazzo Davinos. As soon as we enter this room, it's as if it's been completely scrubbed, erased, void. Except on the walls, there's evidence of blasts. And here, I'm not sure if you can see it for yourself, I see evidence of something absorbing some of that.
Fascinating. A fruitful investigation thus far. You don't have any indication about what kind of magic might have scrubbed this place, as you said?
That will take a little more time, but I believe that I have a way to hopefully detect that, yes.
This is extremely valuable information, Lieutenant. I appreciate your effort. May I speak with you? On our way back to the gardens.
I would love to. I do take my work very seriously, my lord, and I don't want to let you down. I want to make sure that I give this a thorough investigation. May we speak later tonight?
Yes. Perhaps one moment in the hallway, and I will let you continue your work.
Of course. Grotto, if you continue.
He says, I'll keep looking. And you see he takes out some small tools and actually begins to scrape at the walls and get his hands dirty, looking into what's happening here. Einfasen steps out. Give me one more investigation check as you step into the hallway.
Okay. One more investigation check. I would like to try something.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'd like to metamagic subtle spell.
Cool.
Guidance on myself.
Great.
2024 rules give you the ask you to select a specific skill.
Yeah.
I'd like to choose persuasion.
Perfect. Great.
And so, as if he hopefully he doesn't notice it, using a subtle spell, sorcery point to do that.
Great.
And it will last for a minute as I step out into the hallway with him.
Perfect. You step out into the hallway with him. Give me an investigation check.
Yes.
First.
Holy moly. Investigation, another 10.
Okay.
I think I'm focused on him at this point.
You look down on a 10 investigation. You look up and just see a bunch of burned down candelabras. There were candles in the thing that all were allowed to burn down that had physical candles in them.
Okay.
Doesn't register anything to you. You see that the Lord Einfasen looks at you and says, "You were requested personally to investigate this matter by a member of the Chamber of the Lord's Advisory. Do you know why?"
I do not.
Give me, and is that an honest? You can give me persuasion or deception, your choice.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why. I fear maybe something, but I really don't know.
You got that blessing and persuasion right now.
Yep. I don't want to use this one. This one's been. I'm going to use this one. What the hell is that?
Welcome to campaign 4.
Yeah. I'm getting everybody the cheapest plastic dice I possibly can.
Big numbers on mine.
Oh, friggin' A.
No. Or is it the 15? What are you looking at?
Every table needs an actually
9. Call it a 20.
That's true.
What is
Perfect.
2?
13?
Is it? Oh, it is.
Because there's a 9
Oh, cool.
and there's a 6.
Oh.
That's weird. I think it's a 13. It looks like a B.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, 13.
It does. They're just so close together. It looks like a B.
That's weird. I think it's a 13
Yes.
though.
It is a 13. It's a 13. Yes, as I compare it to the other die, the position is 13 plus.
Or is it an ampersand?
You rolled a 10 on reading.
19.
Could be a
19, and then you added your guidance.
Oh yeah, my guidance. So 20.
20.
Yes.
He looks at you and says, "How old were you when you joined the Falconers Rebellion?"
When I was taken from my parents against my will, I was 12.
Between you and I, Lieutenant, I am struggling to make heads or tails of you.
Allow me to help you, my lord. Because I have nothing to hide.
I wonder how many friends you have that you do not know about. There are explanations floating in space. I don't anticipate that a young lad, too young to be on the front line, perhaps not even strong enough yet to wield a broadsword, would have a coherent ideology of opposing the nobility who by right govern these lands. However, you have people that are speaking on your behalf who I cannot understand why. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Do it. Get it.
People speaking on your behalf.
Oh no.
No, Luis, no.
It's time to retire.
I know. They were on fire for me last time. This is a 6. It's not a natural 1. But
I want to ask, by the way, do you have your divine sense activated right now or no?
I don't have divine sense.
You don't have divine sense.
I'm more sorcerer than paladin.
More sorcerer than paladin. Cool.
But there's people around me that might.
He looks at you. He looks at you and says, "When you think back to your time serving in the Falconers Rebellion, a fact that would make you highly unlikely to be valued as a member of the Arcane Marshals. What lies now in your heart about your service to that rebellion in your extreme youth?"
There's nothing in my heart that is of service to that rebellion, my lord. Let me tell you the story of how me in the Falconers Rebellion came to be. You're right, I was young, small, not strong. Of course, not a soldier, but I wasn't meant to be a soldier. Words that you've used before suggested that you understood that I might have had a relationship with the Azune. I guess that's one way to call that. The Azune came to my village, and he stole me and other children like me from our families and forced us into the rebellion against our will. And he threatened us. He said that if we were to not follow whatever it was that he said, then he would kill our families. We didn't fight. We weren't meant to fight. We were meant to be cannon fodder. He used us. I made sure that I was the Arcane Marshal to scan Thiazi Fang the day that he was going to be executed so that he can look me in the face and see that I was going to be there to watch him take his last breath for what he did, because at the end of all of it, he had my entire family killed the day after he took me. I have no love for him and no love for that rebellion. I'm a proud Arcane Marshal, and when I came here, by the grace of the powers that be, they understood that a child forced in to that position was forced against his will. And I was given a second chance here, and I've made the best of it. And I'm dedicated to my work. I'm dedicated to the Arcane Marshals, the Revolutionary Guard, and now that you are the head of that department, that institution, I am dedicated to you.
Go ahead. I'll allow you to give me either deception or persuasion. And I'll let you add that guidance. Even though it's 4 persuasion, I'll let you add that guidance.
Bruh. Okay. Bruh. I'm using my other luck point. Okay.
Come on.
Let's roll that first. Okay, that's a 3. That's nice.
That's good. That's
Come on,
good.
dice, support the role play.
Natural 20!
Okay.
He looks to you.
Natural 20. What the fuck, Luis?
I can't feel my feet, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
I didn't break.
Jesus.
He looks to you. the Azifang was a villain. I am sorry for the torment that he put you through. I do not hold you accountable for what you did as a boy of 12 to survive. But know that this secret of yours that I hold gives me power over you. I will not say it in a sideways or sinister manner. You should fear me. He puts a hand on your shoulder and says, I trust that you have spoken the truth to me. Serve me well, and your life will be a fruitful one.
I look forward to our collaboration, my lord.
Lieutenant Azune Nayar, are you a member of the Candescent Creed?
No.
Very good. And he pats you on the shoulder and says, there are some who believe otherwise. I do not know why. But for our purposes, if you would choose to be a devout man, that would not be an unwelcome development for me. Do you understand?
Oh, I do. And I share that conviction, my lord.
Your detail is being expanded, your responsibilities augmented. In addition to patrolling the Penteveral and the Arcanaud, it has come to our attention that many of the licenses signed by one Hallandil Fang at the Hallowed Round require the utmost inspection and adherence to the protection of the populace from dangerous arcane magic. I would like you to hold Hallandil Fang to the word of his agreements, with extreme prejudice, Lieutenant.
Understood.
That is all.
He started that with the Aussie was a villain and then said the most insane villainous shit. That's crazy.
Game recognized game.
That's crazy. Dude, you got too many lies going.
Oh.
It's over.
I can track all of them, don't worry.
You are allowed to continue your investigation, but I believe everyone is heading towards the Hallowed Round more or less.
I guess you're cutting blue, back to
the Arcanaud.
To the Arcanaud.
I would quickly. Yeah. Go ahead.
What do we do? Are we supposed to go and help? Are we supposed to go and help Azune? What are we supposed to do? He just dumped an elephant's load of shit on our laps right now. Are we supposed? What do we suppose? This is Jazz. What are we? Jazz is chaos. Do we go help?
Not at the moment, no.
But I don't want to leave my boy in the lurches without assistance.
We're all going to be without assistance in a while. If you want to go pick him up on the way to our meeting, that would be fine. That way you get to check. I have to get everyone working on the project in here.
Okay.
And you also have a... Do you feel comfortable with what you've selected? That's a yes. That's fine.
There's not enough hours in the day. Whatever. It's just...
Jazz, yes.
Jazz. Okay, I'll see you over there. I'm gonna just go slide by the Davinos and see if he needs anything.
Okay, I'm going to tell everyone the best I can what's about to happen.
What's about to happen?
Well,
I am a divination wizard, and I should know this, and I feel so lost right now.
There's a bunch of strangers from the Penteveral who are about to come in asking what to do. They don't know what to do yet, and I'm going to be asking them to make a mess of everything.
Do I take these papers? Do I leave these papers?
Take the papers.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
All right, I'll just head over to Palazzo Davinos.
And I'll pull the five people in my team and just... I'm so sorry, it's been a bit odd. I know you all have questions, and I don't have time to answer them just yet.
Don't be late, Bolaire. Go.
We're a museum at war. Those of you who are old enough to know what that means. we are sitting on a giant unguarded pile of wealth, prestige, and narrative. And it's going to be plundered soon. What we need to do is hide what's important. The watchword of the day is circumlocution. Make a mess with paperwork. Make piles of things that only make sense to you. I'll need everything that has ever touched the Lloyd family to be in one particular corner. I want to make sure that the paperwork is reasonable but messy so that we can get the important things out first if we need to. You're going to be getting a mountain of help that has no idea what's going on or how to do anything from the Penteveral. Use them as best you like. And know that if you decide that the current new administration is trustworthy, they kill the storytellers first. Enjoy. And I'm going to run off.
Give me persuasion or intimidation, if you'd be so kind.
Wow, which one is more?
Do intimidation. That's fun. It's rare you get to use an intimidation check.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Come on, baby. 22.
22.
I'm a monster.
You see that your team nods their heads low, and you see that one of your archivists, Rosadella, goes and says, I believe there are a number of pending requests for retrieval and maintenance from the Lloyd family to their artifacts that we are merely borrowing.
I actually am of the opinion that somewhere we have a piece of paperwork that says that everything from them is on loan and has to return to the family. I've been looking for it everywhere.
I'll make sure to find it and several copies that might say conflicting things.
They want everything to move quickly, make it move quickly the way that quickly things do, with a mess and deep irritation, and I leave.
Hell yeah, you swoop out of the museum. Murray, you take off. I think you catch up to Murray actually no time. You arrive at the Palazzo together. You see one of Azune's soldiers is outside, that basically sees your approach, and looks and says, Professor Magnuson, do you wish for me to go and collect Lieutenant Nayar?
Oh! No. I was just walking by. I was just passing by. How are you?
Good. Dalla, Inspector Dalla.
Darling, right. That's right. I think we've crossed paths a few times.
Very well. Well, I'll leave you.
Yeah.
Bye. And then I'm gonna go around the corner.
Charm.
I'm gonna go kind of to like the west wing of the house, kind of like trying to interpret the word vomit that Azune dumped on me when he was at the Arcanon. And then I'm just gonna like
Crystal clear, I swear.
I'm just gonna cast message to him. So you just wipe my finger across my mouth and go,
Azune, I'm outside. What do you need from me? Do you need me? Do you got this on lock?
Do I hear it?
Yeah,
I catch
a
it.
message coming in from outside.
I will respond. I think at this point, I've left Grotto alone.
Yeah.
In the West Wing.
Yeah.
There is a single person in the West Wing, if you have an idea of how to further the plan that I set forth. He's at your disposal. If you don't risk it.
What type of a caster? What type of is he sensitive to a certain type of magic?
He's going to detect something that's near him.
Would I be arriving about this point?
Yeah, I actually think your message to your team was so short that I think you could just hurry and catch up to Murray outside of the Palazzo.
Yes, of course.
I'm on the phone.
I will have made sure to step more than 30 feet away from Grotto, knowing the range of something like detect magic.
Yeah.
All right.
Do what you can if it's doable. Don't push it if it's not.
What's your plan?
I don't know. Do I try? I might be able to try and like get in his head, kind of plant some echoes of what might have happened here.
I mean,
is that too risky? I can.
What do you want him to know?
Bolaire's asking what you want him to know.
I want him to feel like he saw what Taconis did to the Davinos and the Royces. I wanted to haunt him.
Is he someone who, like, gets visions? Does Grotto get visions? Does he, like, how does he see magic? Like, if I literally implant something in his head.
Perfect.
All right.
He's too far away for me to see, I assume.
I'm going to cast invisibility on myself.
Hell yeah.
And then I am going to tell Bolaire just stay the fuck out of sight.
I can help.
How?
Oh, I hate this. I lay these hands upon the mask, and I slowly begin to pull, and a face begins to overtake the mask and swallow it, and the clothing starts to shift, and almost like cracking glass, slowly this image of a person comes out of this, which is the man who was wearing me when I decided to have a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I very specifically give his clothing the look of someone of authority so that I can walk about and look like I belong there.
Hell yes. Murray, you're moving invisibly. You are disguised as effectively an arcane marshal, a member of the Revolutionary Guard. You are able to get within distance of where you need to get to. You're able to basically join Azune, like up in that west wing. You basically got, Hieronymus Einfassen has left. Yes. Like he's basically, you said I need a lot of time and he's giving you a lot of time. But he already heard, just you saying this place has been scrubbed, he didn't appear to need a lot more than that. It's like once you told him that, he was interested in leaving, right?
Great.
So you guys arrive up in the west wing, not too far from Azune and the room where Grotto is still investigating.
Is he still in that room that Azune was in?
Yes.
And you see him?
And I see you. I will approach. I mean, if someone of authority is coming to me, then I will approach.
You see someone you don't recognize in the armor of an arcane marshal.
Oh. Excuse me, sir. Are you?
You know exactly who I am. Hello, darling.
From that point on, I will pull you so that we're far enough away out of the range of Grotto's detect magic.
Yeah.
I'll pull you to the side and I will message into you. I trust you have a plan.
A bit of one, yes.
Keep some distance away from him. He's probably detecting magic in the near vicinity. I will leave the room.
How far would his detect magic?
I'm going to walk and show you.
Yeah.
If I heard that, I thought you were asking me.
No, I would probably know, but it was like, because I know that if we have to cast, we have to get within 30 feet of him, which is always tricky.
Yeah, correct.
Can you somehow get him to drop detect magic for a moment?
It will drop. If you have a little bit of time to kill.
I actually don't think you want him to drop detect magic. You want him to believe that this is something that he sensed.
Could you get close enough to...
I think so, without him knowing that I'm there.
I think at this point his detect magic has dropped.
Okay.
He's collecting
like physical evidence.
Physical evidence.
That would be enough.
Huh?
Yeah, because we've already kind of paced the whole area.
It's only a 10-minute.
Yeah,
He just needs
10
to
minutes.
find something. It doesn't have to be magic. Or if you like, I was just going to help you with your little spell. Or if you like, I can fix this. Or at least I can fix this for a bit.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I can make him think he found a piece of evidence that's inscrutable.
I can maybe bolster that with my spell if you start first, and then I can get in his head.
I was hoping you could make it a little more likely that my spell works, but I will take what I can get.
1-2 punch here.
There before the grace of God, well, there with the grace of something.
And I've gone to like a corner on the opposite end.
Yeah. You go to your corner. What are the spells that we're casting?
I was going to use, 1 second. I was going to use Phantasmal Force.
Cool.
I'm gonna use Musical Migraine.
Hell yeah. What does Musical Migraine do?
The description is, you hear faint echoes of music in your mind. You can hum fragments to unlock its subharmonic power while targeting one creature you can see within range. The target makes a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they take 3d6 thunder damage and are incapacitated. But I was hoping I could maybe like skin that a little bit.
Sure.
To make it feel, whatever you do at the same time, to make it feel like Grotto is catching echoes of what happened. And I want to like basically implant the screams of the Davinos and the Royce families getting completely murdered and decimated in his head.
Give me a DC 15 Arcana check to alter the spell in this way.
Okay.
You gonna magically Rickroll him?
That's exactly what I was gonna do. So my portent, you beat me to it. The portents that I rolled at the top of this, I wrote them down, were 11 and 13. I will use that 11 because that'll put me in a 19.
Great.
And that 11 is gone.
Perfect.
So yes.
So this one is going to create screams, horrifying screams of ghostly, spectral horror.
Want him to give these flashes like he is tapping into this massacre that happens. So Marie, being invisible, is gonna like walk around the corner, be far enough away.
Yeah.
This is a 60-foot spell, so I don't want to get close. And as soon as I can like see Grotto kind of through the threshold of the door, Marie is going to take the tip of her fingernail and she rakes it across the brim of her hat, and it's going to create this like very imperceivable subharmonic vibration that she then shoots and throws it into his head. He has to make a Constitution saving throw.
Hell yeah. On a natural 7 on the die, he fails.
So I want to sound like screams, people dying, maybe the voices of like the Taconis, just like actual echoes of this massive massacre.
Give me Phantasmal Force. As you cast Musical Migraine on him and he hears the screams, what is he seeing?
I know he scoured the room, but at some point just in his walking around, something that for some strange reason he didn't sense, perhaps because it was in the floor, he triggered a glyph. And that glyph was a recording. It was someone in the midst of dying who somehow captured the events. And they are now being replayed from this person's vantage point before him as a desperate attempt to leave any evidence of what Taconis did to the Royce and DeVivos family.
Oh, like one last ditch. We're leaving a message to be like, help me.
Yeah.
It's the 911 operator call.
Yeah, and you can visually just
The
see
audio
the
log.
massacre in the room.
With that failed con save, I'm going to roll his intelligence save at disadvantage.
Thank you.
He needs a 13 or higher on both of these dice rolls.
Yes, intelligence 14 save.
Intelligence 14 save, so he gets a +1. So we are looking for we're looking for a 12. Yeah, he needs a 13 or higher on both of these to save. Any 12 or lower on either of them, and it's over. 14.
Come on, no.
7.
Okay.
As it happens, my question for you, Bolaire. You were there on that. You guys brought Octus back as a fucking revenant. What do they see in this room? Like, what is he? Who is speaking? Do you have any people assigned to this? Are there any specific people that are speaking or acting in this way?
I'm trying to think. Who do I know from either of these families?
You know Octus?
We know Octus. We know Julien.
Octus is actually perfect.
Yeah.
Octus is perfect. I make that sad, a little boy voice freaking out and stuttering to explain what happened. And I'm using every detail we managed to hear from him, including the necromantic magic.
I love it. I'm going to ask I'm going to throw a wrinkle in here, but this is awesome. First of all, you cast a spell. You guys are winging it. You are fucking winging it. You look and see Grotto stand up hard, holding his head. He stumbles back, thuds into the ground. Ah, God! Blood oozes from his nose as he starts to scream. You do 7 damage. He's not that powerful. 7 damage is a good chunk of his hit points. He stumbles backwards, looking out. Octus begins to scream. Give me a history check based on what you were able to glean that night from conversation at the Lloy estate.
Okay. I'm by the way, perfectly happy to embellish because I do love a story.
I love it.
That's a history check of just a 25.
Just a 25!
I am a librarian.
I love it. 25. So in that case, I'm going to say that you get the details right. First of all, Octus turns and says, "They're coming for me. Please remember." The thuds on the table. You see a Tacona's hand. Yeah. The damage in the table is the knife going through Octus' chest. You see, by the way, as you're looking, Bolaire, you realize your lie is the truth. This is the room that Octus was murdered in. The knife is the knife. The knife wound in the table is the knife wound. The desk that is missing is the one that Aranessa turned into a tree to escape, that they pulled with its roots out of the wall. And I think, Bolaire, in this moment, that all three of you realize, this lie we're doing is
just the truth.
All you can do
it's what I do best.
All you can do is think of Demodus looking at you and saying, "All truths start as an illusion." And, you use this lie to tell a truth that they used magic to destroy. Azune, was there something that you were going to do in this moment?
I think I can see that it's starting to take effect. I see what you're doing. I'm going to cast message into Grotto's mind.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to repeat over and over again, the priestly houses are coming for us. The priestly houses are coming for us. The priestly houses are coming for us.
Over and over and over again, you repeat that. Grotto stumbles out of the room. You guys vanish to the side. Give me perception checks, the two of you, Murray and Bolaire.
15.
Thank God.
15. 6. Okay, 15. You see Grotto stumbles out. You're invisible. You, I think, are off or in this sort of guard. Grotto is bleeding, grabs you and says, "Something happened. I don't know."
Okay, I've got you. Stay with me.
There was a massacre here.
What?
They killed Octus Taconis here in this.
Wait, stay with me.
As you begin to hold him up and cart him away, you look over, Murray. You look over as you have fabricated the truth of what happened. In a corner, these candelabras have all sunken away. Thinking of Demodus, the truth started as an illusion. You look over and see the last candle burns out as a blue flame goes out.
Oh, shit.
And that's where we'll take our break.
All truth starts as an illusion. That's the title of the episode. That's it.
Damn!
That's theater, baby.
Oh my God.
Someday, I can leave the smuggling business behind.
I know Aether better than anyone, and I know how to help with the wasting. A little. Anyway, please, just let me try. I don't think I'm at any risk.
A lot of runaways think the life of an Aetherneer is easier than what they have up here.
The Civil War has some of them playing mercenary. We call them gray caps. The Finks are selling their Aether guns in Dreamland. We need to see who's buying.
Your insurrection ends for a better, peaceful tomorrow. For all of New York!
Remember, act like a bloodthirsty sadist who wrecks everything around you. Basically, just be 8-shot.
What lies beyond, they longed to know. The places where the maps don't go. Their quest to learn of time and space devoured them without a trace.
The dawning truth burned like a sun, hypotheses unwound, undone. Through realms unknown, the ship took flight, through ancient ruins, through beams of light.
And now, at last, an endless hall reveals the things that haunt them all. The final journey now begins. To go beyond, we must go within.
Unend Season 3 arrives April 8th, 2026.
New episodes available Wednesdays on Beacon, Mids.co, YouTube, and your preferred podcast listening platform.
Hello, friends. Laura Vale here with all our cool stuff available in the Critical Role shop.
9 times out of 10, this is a good decision.
It's comfy, it's cozy, and it's perfect for you. Why not pick this up? It looked great on you. Make a hell of a fashion statement with this baby right here.
I'll take 3. For science, obviously.
You can never have too many dice. Take it from me.
Gonna wear this on the next full moon.
Oh, that's a perfect gift. If anyone asks, this was a necessary expense.
I think I'll get it. And you should too! You know, and then we can be twinsies. It'll be so much fun. Grab some sweet CR swag of your own over at the Critical Role shop. We'll see you there.
Welcome to Weird Kids.
I have never related so much to a character than I do Bilbo Baggins.
A little more Gandalf-y.
Yeah, you're more Gandalf-y. You need your party.
Parties are great, although people are exhausting. We were about to die. Salute.
That is spicy.
Oh God, why did I put another one in my mouth?
She's cursed.
I remember that forever on some level.
Sorry.
I have to say something real quick.
Oh, season's greetings, Beacon Bits.
Good day, good day.
We now have a pop.
Welcome to Weird Kids.
Oh God, why did I put another one in my mouth?
For a while. It was really.
Oh, thank
Oh.
Oh, this? No, I found this on my own.
Letter.
So letters.
Get him!
Kill.
We return to Dolmakia as the Inspector Grotto collapses in your arms, Azune, and is screaming, bleeding from the nose. I saw. There was a young man. There was a young man who there was a recording in the floor somewhere. I
slow down, Grotto. Slow down. I'm gonna bring him towards where there's gonna be other witnesses to what he says.
You bring him out. You bring him out to where there are some Einfossen security who begin to question him out in the courtyard. For Murray and Bolaire, what do you two do?
I'm going to.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Hey, I don't need to make this better.
We're gonna get the fuck out. Clearly you're sending us somewhere.
I'll talk to you later. Sir. And then I'm going to make my way.
You guys take off. Make my way.
You guys take off and get to where you need to go as fast as possible. Grotto is so addled that he doesn't think about another. He just sees some Revolutionary Guard armor, but is not in like a who's this guy. He's just had the most horrifying thing that's ever happened to him.
Holy
Azune,
shit,
you
that was
lead
awesome.
him.
That was so cool. I feel a little guilty. Let's get to Hal.
Guilt's the best part.
And you wander, Murray, having seen that little blue candle light flicker away and a little trail of smoke go up around it. You, Azune, head down to the garden where Grotto sits down. There's a sort of medic that begins to administer to him, helping heal some of his injuries. He just goes, in the room, there was a young man. He called himself Octus Ticonus, and said that he was being murdered. He was being murdered. There was a recording left in the floor underneath. I don't know if he somehow hid it before they scrubbed it, but he looks around knowing how dangerous what he's saying is, but he looks up at you and says, Lieutenant, there's been a cover up here. They tried to scrub that recording. I don't know what happened here. I don't know why a Ticonus was murdered by his own family in the middle of the Davinos estate. I don't know what happened to the Davinos family, but I'll tell you one thing, I don't think anyone went to fucking Ferry.
Take a breath. We're going to need you to repeat everything that you said so it's on record. Okay. And I'll call the rest of my detail, Dala and Horace. I'll gather them, make sure that he's well taken care of. I heard a couple things in there, and Grotto, you were repeating over and over again that there was just screams.
Screams, the priestly houses, something about the priestly houses. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Somebody get this man some water.
You see someone runs off to go get him some water. A medic is there. One of the Einfasen begins to just take all of this down, saying like, we can record the notes here as well. You see that Dala looks at you and says, do you want me to take it down as well?
Yes. Take down the notes, keep them, and can you handle this?
I got it, Lieutenant, yes.
Okay. You're safe now, Grotto. Well done.
That's never happened before. I've never felt the magic like that where it physically harmed me. Whatever they did to try to clean it up, I don't know why the recording would have harmed me. The person really wanted people to know that he was being killed. So whatever hurt me was some kind of curse. I don't know.
I think it's clear that there was a great violence that happened in that place, and maybe there was a little bit of that left over that found its way to you.
God, I don't want to imagine what kind of necromancy would do that kind of damage as a byproduct.
And I'm going to pull out two things that I found in my investigation. Mm-hmm. The half of that glyph that snapped, and I will say to Dala, take note of this. I found this. I'm going to look into this further. Okay. And I'm going to pull out the handwritten, the hand-drawn Stone of Night Song that Thimble gave me a long-ass time ago.
Ooh, hell yeah.
These are some things that I discovered in the moment that Grotto seemed to have become overtaken.
In the chamber?
In the chamber.
She nods. All right, I'll mark it down, Lieutenant.
And I'm going to put it away on my person, and I'm going to leave.
Hell yeah.
To meet the others, as planned.
As Bolaire and I are walking, I'm kind of like replaying everything that just happened in my head. Was there anything strange about the candle going out, or is it just going out because it's done over time? Did it feel like it was being overtaken? Is there anything strange about it, the candelabra?
Tell me how you describe it to Bolaire.
I don't know if it was like the magic coming to an end, or if like whatever magic that they're doing to try and counteract and erase the magic that was there is like slowly spreading. It was almost like a fumigation, like they're trying to slowly erase everything. Maybe it happens in time. I don't know.
curious.
Do you tell Bolaire what you saw? Physically describe what you saw.
Yeah. Like the candle being snuffed out, right? Is kind of what
It
you
was
said?
like the candle was dying down, and it was a blue flame.
It was a blue flame, right. I hope we weren't being watched. That would suck. Like, you think someone was scrying and tapping into that?
I don't know. Even if they were scrying, they wouldn't necessarily have seen much.
But Azune was trying to say, like, from what I heard, it sounded like some sort of, like, whatever magical remnants was there had been scrubbed.
Would have
So, but I mean, like,
shown up.
I mean, all these houses, all these Sundered houses are going to be riddled with magic just from an aesthetic purpose, so...
Is there... is the blue flame hitting anything in my head? And B, I know that I had that spider sense about the shadows very, very early on, about the sort of dark, creeping energy. Is this rattling anything?
As you are walking, I think you guys are joined by Azune on your way to the Hallowed Round.
Yes. Yeah.
As Azune joins you, give me a history check.
A history check.
I'll call it a DC 10.
Can I help him in this as we're talking it out? I'll help you.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
give you
love
advantage.
it, little advantage. 25.
25. As you're describing it, it was a pretty beautiful shade of blue. It was actually somewhat whimsical. The color of the blue flame, and House Royce's house colors are green and gold. Mm. So having blue flame is sort of an interesting choice for the candles. Bolaire, I've mentioned blue candles earlier in this very episode.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I mentioned it as the trick that Demodus pulled off in his...
me.
He was going to change a yellow candle flame to blue.
Holy shit. I don't know this.
Yeah, I suppose I have been thinking about him a bit.
You think?
I think it was a message.
You think he was nearby? Where is Demodus? It was just a singular candle?
But all the others had burned down. They'd been burning since the golems.
Interesting.
Oh, boy.
You guys arrive at the Hallowed Round. Hal, no sign of Misha having shown up here. As you're waiting for your friends, is there anything you do at that?
Yeah, so everyone has left, and I was not initially too worried, but the more time I've had to stew here, the more it begins to bother me that he is MIA. I have taken my jacket off and thrown it over a large knot in the side of the central tree at the rear of the performing area in the round. So jacket off, and I have slowly been carrying the pots of paint. I'm waiting for my conspirators, but I've been moving them all. My daughter has carried them to different places along the two sort of wooden structures that she's painted the murals along. So they're all scattered about, and I have, as they're arriving, I'm not, I don't even register that they come, I don't think, and I'm getting like the last 2 or 3 over to this spot.
Yeah.
And just been getting more tense and more worried.
You guys arrived to find Hal moving this paint onto the stage.
I would have taken a second once we got close enough to dive into an alley and drop my illusion.
Cool.
Yeah, now I've dropped invisibility, of course, at this point as well.
Hey.
Hello. It's been a day.
It's been a day. Well, and I just have 1 or 2 more of these. I continue tootling around. Somebody go first. Anything new?
Oh my.
Who wants to start?
I don't know, man.
Well, we just came back from the Palazzo Davinos because Einfassen had me investigate what happened there, and we managed to find... I don't even know how to explain what the two of you did, but we at least acquired some more evidence that can implicate Taconis.
Okay.
How did it work after we left?
It worked.
Did our narrative seem to hold?
Yes, he was screaming about what happened to Octus. He saw it, and
I didn't mean
he's.
to hurt him. I feel bad about that.
It's okay. He'll be fine.
Sort of just a symptom of the spell.
It's better that it hurt a little so that it's taken seriously.
Basically, was able to really implant the narrative in his head about a massacre happening at House Davinos.
How'll that work?
Well, someone's being loud. The two of us working together did quite the job.
Okay.
The museum is
A little bit of illusion.
locked down.
A little bit of divination.
People are missing.
Yeah, people are missing.
Wait, who's missing for you?
My master of magic, one of my teachers, old Misha Undragor, who has taught this troop for decades, whose family goes back to the before times.
One of the Pentevral's star students is also missing.
No.
Dimidus.
What's worse, there are signs that he was at the massacre and witnessed it somehow. There was a clue left that he might have been there.
There's also a king in town. And I peel my sleeve all the way up to the shoulder, and I just dunk my hand into one of the pots of green paint and feel around inside. Is there anything in there?
Give me an investigation check.
Okay. We'll go with that one. These paints. That is not great. That is a 14.
You reach around on a 14 investigation, just goopy paint. You look at Shadia's mural work, by the way, is beautiful. Right, sort of front and center in one of the murals you see, she has one of the murals done up with Vokian Mirzat, with the historical figure that the play is based on, who you can see looks sort of cutting a heroic, tragic figure, gazing up at the stage at like the head of a doomed revolution. You're going the shade of green. It sort of matches to the green of his skin as he sort of strides at the head of this phalanx of orcish rebels, and you scoop around in the green, and it feel goopy green paint, nothing in there.
All right. I drag my arm out, which is dripping green. It's not too different than my own, and I just whack my arm out to the side, and it spatters the grass on the ground. Well, shit.
Well, I wouldn't have thought to do that, at the very least.
What is it, the Aussie?
Well, wait a second. Can I take my mage hand and like lift the what's it called? The bucket, the
amphora?
The amphora. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Can I lift the amphora so that we can like peer underneath of it, like at the bottom of it?
Yes, you can. Well, actually, the mage hand is not strong enough to lift it, but you can physically lift them, obviously. Yeah. Getting down and looking underneath, you do see that they are pressed with the symbol of hand and wheel. So this is Oris Blade's company that at least made the ceramics.
Detect magic. I got you this time.
Yeah.
Paint's magic.
I'm also taking this moment to
I feel like we did.
get a little bit of my pack magic back.
Light.
Well, because we thought maybe the paints were like the paints had some sort of illusory.
Yeah.
Give me, if you'd like, give me an Arcana check. Give me a little like Arcana or an investigation.
I'll help.
All right.
Do magical components of spells usually ping as magic when you do detect magic?
Magical components of spells do not ping as magic.
I think this is a component. And I pull out the half of the thing, the glyph. I think these paints are meant to be drawn on these.
23, is you right?
23 Arcana is very high.
I rolled a 15 plus 8.
You get the same thing that pinged before. You know, like a little slight. It's like, oh, there's some. Maybe this is like could be zhuzhed up with a cantrip, like make this colors a little brighter, pop more under like lighting.
And it's the paint, not the pot.
It's the paint, not the pot.
Oh right.
Because I get that from the paint that he just smattered on the grass, like that is coming up.
Yeah, I think as you look at that on a 23 Arcana, looking at the paint on the grass, let me ask, and you have Detect Magic cast right now, right? Yeah, you're looking at it. There's like a faint little bit of illusion, like something like a cantrip maybe. But again, it's hard to say, like lesser than a minor image almost, just like, oh, maybe this will be a little brighter. On a 23 Arcana, you're looking at the paint on the grass. Azune's statement, components don't register as magical. There's there's something about the cantrip that's like, I think you're looking at the faint residue of magic on here that feels so underwhelming for a thing that was in Thiazi Fang's dying thoughts to his brother, where the three things he said were what? Help was like, Bolaire has paint for you, help Murray, tell Thimble, and then he died. Right? So this paint was a third of his dying whatever, and you're looking at something less than a minor illusion cantrip. But this minor illusion cantrip was interesting. On 23 Arcana, I sadly can't give you what you're looking for, but I can tell you this. You know, if you saw a piece of toast that was perfectly buttered, would that strike you as odd if the butter were completely even and to the edges exactly and no more?
That's how I butter my toast.
Oh, maybe it's unusual then. So
I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah. That's just something I think you're noticing with this little minor illusory residue. It's just like, this is like a very faint, weak piece of magic. It's really uniform. Like the paint it's not like it's radiating from the center, or like, oh, this glob has like extra and it gets weaker as it kind of goes out to these little specks. Sort of pretty uniform. It's actually kind of some prodigious spell casting to get a cantrip that's like this, vacuum sealed, kind of glued to the outside of this thing.
And while I have Detect Magic up, I'm going to like focus it and look at the backdrops that Shadia has painted with this magic. Same vibe?
You look to the backdrop. Give me another Arcana.
Are you talking to me about this as we go?
Sure. Talking about it all loud.
Hold on. Do you have this at advantage?
Yeah.
Because you're helping? Okay. All right. Never
Why?
mind.
What were we going to do?
I was
You're
going to
give me a little
advantage.
inspiration?
I want to contribute as well, as we're sort of putting our heads together and you're looking at the painting.
You did make a great comment.
If I can see this coming,
yeah,
I'd like to cast guidance.
Perfect.
My first time casting guidance on another person, I'd put my hand, as I see you focusing, I put my hand on her shoulder and you feel almost like a Rolodex of memories moving through your mind.
So I have advantage and guidance.
And another hand on your other shoulder, and you just hear a low, reverberating, please. Bardic inspiration.
Okay.
Advantage from Bolaire, guidance from Azune, inspiration from Hal.
What's your inspiration, D6 right now?
Yeah.
Do I have to use it on this one, or can I just? And I can use it.
D6.
I can use it afterwards, right? If I choose.
When you fail, the creature can roll the Bardic Inspiration die. So start with the Bardic Inspiration.
The DC here is 25.
Okay. Plus 8 to my Arcana.
Mm-hmm. Plus a D4 to your Arcana.
So D4. Let's do like what you did earlier. Let's start with the D4.
Yes.
Hang on, here's the other thing. Hang on, wait. 13 plus 8 is going to be 20.
The bardic is for failed rolls. So start with the bardic if you fail to get it above a failed roll, and then build.
Yeah. Or you'll roll with advantage. The guidance is for free.
Yes,
guidance is for free.
And then
you might not need the bardic at all.
I might. I'm also my portent, but then I would have to. There's still a chance I would biff it on my portent, so I'm gonna roll.
You got it.
Okay. So that's gonna be a 12 plus 8.
20.
Plus a D4.
Plus a D4.
Is it
So
a
I'm gonna
fail,
use.
though, if it misses 25?
It misses 25, it's a fail.
It'll miss 25 regardless.
So
I should
before guidance, do bardic
do bardic.
inspiration.
4. So
that's-
there's no way. There's no way I can
Yeah.
fail. 26.
26.
Unbelievable. Plus 2 on my bardic inspiration, on my guidance.
There's like 4 of us at a gallery going. The color captures it.
Yeah, it's kind of iridescent
I like it.
sheen.
I don't know what it means. I like it.
A Penteveral trained wizard, a master of antiquities, an arcane marshal, and the proprietor of this place of magical art.
How many majors does it take?
How many majors does it take?
To figure out what's
How
going
many
on.
humanities majors does it take?
Oh, no.
To scan a cantrip. You gaze at the mural. This little illusion.
Is there gonna be some sort of secret message in this shit? Keep going, keep going. Sorry.
Gazing past. There is the mural before you, finished with the paint. It's stunning. There's a couple murals throughout that Shadi has finished in this time with her team. The minor illusion you're getting on the paint is a foil wrapping. It is weak magic.
Okay.
Foil wrapped over something.
Okay. It's concealing the goods.
Concealing the goods. And as you look at the mural, you are listening. It's like if you're listening to some twinkly ethereal, something like a thumb piano or like an ocarina, some little small kind of thing. And then you realized you're standing on a 2-mile tall subwoofer that is playing a bass note so deep and so low that you couldn't hear it over the twinkly little ocarina music. And as all of you tap into that bass note, the school that you register incredibly potently is actually, I think it's 2 schools first and foremost, and it's actually at the edge point of where the schools meet. You know, like the schools of wizardry are...
Has a little Venn diagram.
Yeah, the schools of them are adjacent, and there's places where they blur and blend. And a lot of times it's wizards basically like the categories are like wizard created more or less, meaning like the wizards find it useful to categorize them this way, but magic might know no bounds of its own kind of situation.
Yeah, of course.
Potent. At first, the noise is like, this feeling is so potent that it's hard to even pinpoint. And you realize that you are feeling a hum of the exact center point between the schools of conjuration and necromancy.
Well, I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
That's terrifying.
And then minor illusion was the mask.
Yeah, with this sort of illusory overlay on top of it.
So someone who is familiar with the arcane, there is like an outer layer of obfuscation on this to mask something stronger so that its initial read is weak sauce.
Yes.
When really underneath is
a very faint, not even like an active spell, like a faint residue of illusory, in the same way that like, almost like an instantaneous spell leaves a minor residue. It's like, oh, there's like a little bit of illusion magic on this. But that's a very carefully laid obfuscation, as you said. It's a mask around this deeper, potent magical energy. That magical energy on what you got a 26 is your detect magic is bringing back the school of conjuration. And I think on conjuration, you specifically don't. Yeah, there is a powerful school of conjuration, and then there's necromancy. They're both very powerful, but if you had to say which was slightly more powerful, I think you'd actually say conjuration is the deeper, more profound note.
All right, so I'm saying all this out loud, going off of kind of what you were. I think you were on the right track, Azune.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Conjuration and necromancy as a component?
Feels like you would summon something real nasty.
Yep.
A lot of times you need some sort of paint, chalk, talc powder, some sort of something to paint runic circles to summon something. Maybe that's what this was originally meant for?
Well, there's a lot of options. This could be...
Am I off base with that?
You would know better than me.
This could be something to speak to someone who's passed. Well, this could be, someone to speak with someone who's dead. This could be to bring someone back. This could be part of what happened to Octus, for all we know.
Those all seem really likely. I've read a tale or two. Isn't conjuration also about conjuring doorways?
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. Well, we already know that there's been some shit going on with, like, the Taconuses being really fixated on the idea of... There's been all these, like, demons and whatnot coming from other planes. You think this is, like, to actually paint a doorway?
Murray, I don't know. This is over my head. I run a dog and pony show here. I don't know, but I've read a lot. People used to be able to jump halfway around the world.
This was given to you.
Where did you get these from, though, Bolaire? Where'd you get these paints from?
From Thiazi. I was handed them.
But they're... I guess it's just the barrels themselves that are the hand and wheel. The paints... I don't know if they would know anything about the paints.
They've certainly had their fingers in quite a bit, haven't they?
Well, it's the hand and wheel. They, like you said, they make blank runic discs. Perhaps, if they have a little bit of a slight in terms of, like, a specialty in making ceramics that are designed to hold magic.
Right.
So it could be that these amphores were designed for keeping highly magical substances.
Your brother wanted 3 things. He wanted you to have the paint. He wanted you to talk to her.
Help her.
Help me with what?
I don't know.
Hang on. The Dungeon Master was about to say something important. And I want to know.
Go ahead.
Actually, anyone who wants to can give me an investigation check also right now in this moment.
Investigation.
I've got an okay investigation. Anybody?
I
All
rolled
of us?
balls. I've got a dot in that.
Let's all play.
Big 7 here. Big 7.
Me too, 7.
11.
I'm a terrible at this.
I rolled an 18.
Let's go.
Yay.
So we're talking 22.
22.
Yeah.
I think looking at the amphora, you recognize the symbol of hand and wheel on it. Hands and wheel ceramics. What's interesting is you have, like, your beautifully appointed maximalist apartment, you have some stuff by hand and wheel. They're great. They do good work. Yeah. You have some plates from them. A lovely home set. It's a matching set. They're beautiful. Their symbol is such that they have a little, they have a trademark. They have, like, their press that they put into the things that they make. But you realize that the ones you have on your plates at home are not the ones you saw on the spellglyph. The spellglyph one is the same symbol, but it has a small quill on it, which you realize is actually part of the safety considerations of the city when people are making magical stuff. Right. These amphoras have the same imprint from the spellglyph part of the company, meaning that even though they're not magical, these are made.
They've got the stamp of approval.
Special approval to be able to hold magical stuff or do magical stuff, which I think you would know off the top of your head means that these are special, expensive, probably custom made, probably made to order, meaning that there is a potential. They're also quite large, right? Yeah. So I think that you would look at these. You feel this powerful magical energy coming from within the paint, and specifically like from within the murals. It almost feels like the stuff in the murals is like a little bit more potent even than the stuff in the actual amphora, although it's present there as well. But the similarly, you also, I think you feel on that investigation check that you're like, these amphora are special enough and expensive enough that a follow-up could probably be brought.
With Horus.
You know what I mean? Like if you come in and be like, hey, you sold my friend some forks, they'd be like, what? But if they're like, hey, my friend came in here and bought the trebuchet last week, they're not going to be like, which one? You know, it's like, they're going to know, right?
All right.
I think that's the takeaway.
So potential follow-up conversation with Horus is definitely on the table. I
think it's
But also, I'm wondering, like, do you think that just the sheer act of Shadia painting with these paints kind of activated them a little bit?
Absolutely.
Where's Shadia? Is she here?
She cut out about an hour ago. I'm going to just rest my hand on what looks like a dryish portion of the mural. Does anything out of the ordinary happen when I touch the wall?
You beat me to it.
What are you feeling as you touch it?
What am I feeling?
What are you feeling as you touch it?
In the picture, you mean?
No, I mean, not what you're feeling with your hand, but with your heart. What is Hal feeling in the moment where he touches the painting?
I think trepidation at how far down the rabbit hole we've gone.
You touch the painting, and it, smooth to the touch. Again, very well rendered, beautiful.
But I do not move my hand past Merzat in the picture.
No.
I'd like to join Hal as you're studying the paint. And before you let your hand go, I kind of just touch your shoulder. And I say, Hal, right here is I'm just going to tell you what I've learned from you. You're touching the act of creation. And your daughter is all over this mural. When you watch her create, what does that do? Because I think what makes this component come alive is the intention of the person that uses it for whatever it is that they're making as something that is left behind.
And your brother would know exactly what you would do with it.
Noise of footsteps approaching. Rushing to the top of the amphitheater, the top of the staircase, Drangur Tosh, your dance master. They are in their early 40s. They are a wiry, muscular, kind of ropey, orcish dance instructor. They have a shaved head, and they rush in. Drangur looks at you and goes,
"What is it?"
Misha's been arrested.
No.
I stopped by his flat, his apartment, and there were some people outside at a cafe. They were asking questions. There was a broken glass in the window of his home. Was
he harmed?
We don't know. I don't think so. He walked out under his own volition, but he was manacled.
Do you happen to know if he was at the gala the other night at House Davinos?
No. Misha at the House Davinos? No.
Under whose purview? Where were they taking him?
The Arcane Marshals.
Who was in charge of that? Did you?
I wasn't there, but they said that a lieutenant of the marshals came in.
Okay. Well, there's only a few of us. I need to get there so I can get ahead of this. Maybe I can get some answers.
I bet that answers the question of what happened to Dimidus.
Yes.
We know nothing. We don't know under what pretense. Nothing.
Someone asked where he was being taken, and they were struck across the jaw with a gauntlet.
Arcane Marshals just gonna start arresting mages?
They shouldn't
Azune?
be. They shouldn't be.
Seems to be the case.
Well, unfortunately, if they're doing something that's against the protocol that's been set forth in the city, then we're meant to report it. I will find out. We're not all cut from the same cloth.
That's the problem, Azune.
I know.
Well, this is something we can all take care of together at least.
Should we all go together?
I think so. There would be no suspicion with the four of us having an opinion on this together.
I'm gonna turn and just look at the mural one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Is now time for this? Okay. I want to kind of like zone out on the mural. And this mural is representative of this era in the history of
It's
Aram.
multiple generations of the people of Dolmakyar. From loss of the gods up until today.
If y'all can give me just a minute, gather your things, get ready to go. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Is now the time? Can I do a little augury situation?
Sure.
We defy augury.
Murray is going to walk center stage. No. She's going to walk out into the amphitheater. She's going to walk into the center, and she's going to sit in the front center row in the center seat. And she's just going to stare at the mural, and she's going to take in the whole set and go almost into a meditative state. Her eyes kind of fog over, and if anyone was like looking closely enough, they might see what almost appears to be like little glints, little like a shimmer, almost like the faintest of stars in a far distant galaxy as she zones out and wants to meditate on everything that they had learned, but also everything that this mural represents and everything with the paints, and just try and take in any glint of further information of what's happening.
You reach out with your augury. There is so much information. The amount of vibrations that you feel, your different gem teeth, each one of them sort of humming at a different frequency. If you're looking for every signal at the same time, all you get is noise. And you can feel as you begin to meditate, first of all, the murals painted on the outside of the boxes, of these little sort of like viewing boxes where people sit. You realize that most of the murals actually face the stage. They're decorations. It's almost like the beautiful statuary of cherubs like looking down at an auditorium, right? Like the art is almost collected to be in the same position as the audience, that like they are one. The figures of the murals are in and of the audience. Because the stage, of course, is rendered to hold the performance. It's almost like these murals are here to watch. You reach out with that information and realize that you're getting all information, which is the same as getting no information, and need to focus and drill down. To get a good answer, you need a good question. What is the knowledge Murray is reaching out for in this moment?
What is the knowledge? New spell, who this?
New spell, who this? Technically, augury is you receive an omen about the results of a course of action that you plan to take. You propose what you are planning on doing, and it tells you whether this will be good or ill. I'm happy to stretch that a little bit if it makes sense for Murray to be able to do so.
I think like a lot of the question is going back to the three things that Thyazi said at the end, which is like paints, Murray, Thimble. And essentially wanting to figure out at least if we are like on the right track and we're not going off on like a wild, we're not so incorrect that it's going to spiral us off onto the wrong path.
Let me ask then.
Yeah.
Are you seeking to know, because there are three different, you mentioned the three things Thyazi said, which is him helping you.
Yeah.
Him getting the paint from Bolaire, and then the last things that he wanted to say to Thimble. Of those three, which of them does your mind go to as essentially asking, like, does this bode doom or does it bode well, like, for the future? The paint, yourself, or Thimble?
Things have been moving so quickly over these past 3 days. Marie hasn't even fully begun to process her relationship with Thyazi. And I don't think she's fully even accepted that he's actually gone. For her, she knows if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And Thyazi knew that as much as Murray does. And both of them are in the business of big risks and big rewards. Thyazi, for Murray, in a way, is a dark mirror. They were cohorts. And what happened to Thyazi can easily happen to Murray. He knew that. I think she's trying to process in a way like if she can't be sad for Thyazi's death. She can be regretful. But at the end of the day, Thyazi knew exactly what the risks were and what he signed up for, as does Murray. And if she questions that, then that reflects on her and everything that they worked for over the years. The best silver lining that I think she has almost been trying to convince herself of is that adage and probably falsehood that Thyazi died doing what he loved. But what the fuck was he doing? And what the fuck am I doing? Murray needs help. Help Murray. Outside of maybe her own mental faculties and questioning those. What does Murray need help with? What the fuck does he want me to do in this post-mortem era without Thyazi?
Throughout all of the noise, all of the humming magic, conjuration, necromancy, the Taconis, death and doorways, opening doors to death. Did Thyazi set you up for
enacting an apocalyptic plan. Seeing conjuration and necromancy doesn't fill you with any great sense of bravery. And there's Thiazi, one of the most reckless men you ever knew, who Hal saw ride in on a white horse, who Bolaire personally had contempt for, who Azune felt that he had been given a marching order, this mad sort of Pied Piper figure. Was he even a good man? He launched an arrow from a bow and then died before it hit its mark. The path you walk right now seems to seek to speed that arrow forward to the target that Thiazi selected for it. How much faith do you give to a man who wielded the liar's blade before his brother inherited it? How much doubt can you put in a man who never stopped believing that the world could be fairer? You reach past this with your augury, a piece of divination. Divination, school of magic, seeking truth, knowledge. Azune said these things might be components of a larger spell. The humming of conjuration and necromancy is a component, but the spell has not been cast. It has, frankly, and the metaphor hits you thunderstruck in the moment, staring out. These schools, this paint, whatever Thiazi's plan was, has merely set the stage. Something far greater will happen still. In this moment, you vibrate and hum with an understanding that you, as a wizard, past your fury and your passion for justice, past your love for your home, you have spent so many days and hours fighting for a place dedicated to something that in this moment you find that brief little candle in yourself, past the warrior, past the berserker, past the person standing up for those around her. You find that little candle in the middle of your heart that if things were kinder, would just love being a wizard. The world hums with potential, divination. There are schools of magic yet to make their will known in the stage that has been set here. Past that conjuration and necromancy, you feel perhaps an even greater wave or tempest of illusion, divination, transmutation, a background hum of all of Ahriman singing behind you. And in this moment, you feel a profound connection between all things. I think in this first augury, you feel the glimmer also of an arcane thesis. This place before you is set to speak and be heard by many. There are forces moving on this world. People need to know they're not alone. You feel a hum and a vibration and an inkling of a wizard's knowledge that there might be a way to be heard by many. Great strife lies before you, but that strife is unavoidable. If you turn from this path, the strife will wait for you in the darkness. If you continue on this path, you will face that strife in the light, perhaps with many others by your side.
Hal. This is gonna be a damn good show.
Still have to put it up. Stringer,
want you to find the rest of the company. To tell everyone that I'm handling it. All right? Tell everyone to go home. I don't want anyone else getting snatched up off the street. Tonight, we don't know what's going on. Find Shadia. Tell her to go to Elodie's. Tell her to wait with her mother and her sister, and I will find them as soon as I can. Can you do that for me?
I can. I'll do it right now. Hal, are you going to be all right?
Yes. It's going to be fine. We'll get it sorted.
I'll go get it done. Dranger embraces you and then takes off to see it done as fast as possible. You know, Azune, that you do have the authority to, if this is true that Misha has been taken by the Arcane Marshals, you can absolutely not only gain access to speak to Misha, but also bring those that would, like if Misha has been arrested and it's a public thing, people that are going to like advocate on Misha's behalf in a potential trial can be allowed to confer with the person who's being detained.
Beautiful. Then let's get going. Whenever you're ready, are you okay?
Great.
Yeah.
We're all doing great.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
Come closer to me.
Yeah.
I sort of wander just to the edge of the round at the bottom. Give me your hands. And I take yours, and I take yours.
And
we close the loop. Misha Undergore, above the table, is the Master of Dramatis Arcana for this theater. It's stagecraft. This theater is run on magic. We deal in illusion, sound, light, trickery, truth, lies. It's all harmless. It is all stagecraft. Mostly. And I grip Bolaire's hand, and here in this ancient place, steeped in history, I set aside stagecraft and speak old language, Rongjani words that pull at the strings of power. And I pass the pulse and cast aid, and my heart passes through each of you three, and you feel yourself fortified, and all of you get 5 temporary hit points.
Actual hit points.
And actual hit points. So you're 5 higher.
5 higher, your max hit points increase by 5.
Yes, for 8 hours. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if we're doing a show. I don't know if we're going to see tomorrow. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's go get our boys.
Let's go.
Hell yes. You guys take off, and I presume head all together to the Brethren Hall.
Yes.
Arriving there, entering into this place, you walk in. It's a little bit of a ghost town, but you walk in, see some Einfasen sort of standing around. You walk with enough authority that, and also you guys have enough status as well that you're not being questioned here. Like the Pentevral or the Arcanaud coming to speak to the Arcane Marshals is not untoward at all. No one would think to question this. This is not. And again, like the fact that you've just been assigned to the Hallowed Round to.
I have the paperwork to prove it.
Yes, like you actually weirdly, as much as you have been sent to, like oversee them with extreme prejudice, it's now the reason Hal can be here. So, you walk in and walk up and see some other Arcane Marshals. You see there is filling out some paperwork at his desk, looking extremely put upon because the record keeper has been let go, is Lieutenant Shamad Il-Kafsara. Shamad is... this is... I don't know, I have to write this in Helvarian.
I approach. Lieutenant,
how's it going? How did it go at the Palazzo? Hello. Hi.
Group.
Gotcha. Colleagues, got it. Palazzo Davinos all right?
Well, you'll get the report. It's a bit of a mess.
Gotcha.
But you were on an assignment as well. You apprehended somebody?
Yeah, we just were over at the Rookery and apprehended
Someone's suspected of arcane conspiracy. This was a Misha Undragor.
Suspected of arcane conspiracy. Where did this come from?
We had a report filed from a steward at Obermus Manor, the Draconis Manor.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. What have you gathered? What is the suspect say for himself? Can I look at your report?
Sure, that'd probably be better. And you see he gestures like, let's not talk about it in front of the civilians. But yeah, he hands the report to you.
Okay.
It's half completed. You can infer what directives he was given because you see that Misha is being accused of arcane conspiracy for a theft of sorceress heirlooms from Obermus Manor, and he was being questioned about his accomplice, Demidus Blix.
There it is.
Aha. As I'm reading it, I will, as if I'm reading out loud in my mind. Actually, no, because you'll see me do this. I'll just take that in and I'll share that later. I'd like to, it appears that I'm on an investigation that might overlap with this. I would like to speak to the suspect. Is he in a cell?
He's in holding. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. These are some people that are working with me, colleagues from the Penteveril, from the Arcanon, that are...
He looks at you for a second and goes, are you... Sorry.
Your prisoners under my employ. I'm going to assume this is some sort of a misunderstanding. Misha's worked with us for years. He deals in baubles, lights, magic tricks. I can't imagine he's done the things you are accusing him of.
You see he looks and says, you're of course welcome with the lieutenant to speak to the suspect. Right now, can I be forthcoming with you, Mr. Fang?
You are, yes.
You should convince your employee to talk with us. We're not looking for Mr. Undragor. Mr. Undragor is not the target of this investigation, to my knowledge, but Mr. Undragor is not producing the information that we need regarding the true target of the investigation. So I think that if you can help us convince Mr. Undragor to be a little bit more forthcoming, that will be to his benefit most of all, and yours as well.
And if he doesn't have the information you are hoping he has?
I find it unlikely.
And the true target that you're going after is this Demidus?
Demidus Blix, who we understand actually, Professor Magnesson is a student at your university.
Yes. You think he was the mastermind of this arcane espionage?
He was spotted at Obermus Manor, stealing from the Draconis, so...
allow us to speak to him. Perhaps the suspect will be more forthcoming when he is met with a familiar face.
I think that's probably a good idea for him to see a familiar face. He's a little rattled.
Do we have any leads on Mr. Blix?
Do we have any leads on Mr. Blix aside from the suspect that you have in custody?
We're really hoping that this is the lead on Demidus Blix.
So they do not have Demidus Blix, is what he's alluding to?
That's what he's... Seems like...
Demidus Blix is at large.
Is at large, yes.
My God.
My vibe on this guy as I'm talking to him, is it that he... Yeah. I'm trying to ascertain if he really believes that he's got a criminal on his hands. He seems convinced and convictions are strong. Or if it feels like he's pulled in a person that he's trying to squeeze a scripted story out of.
Give me an insight check.
19.
You look at Shamad, tall human man. He's got a thick mustache, shaven head. He looks at you with a sort of condescending glare. Shamad has made his way as an arcane marshal by cutting a really
large corner, which is if you just assume everyone's guilty, you find the guilty ones most of the time, or so he thinks, and all it costs is a little bit of discomfort and terror amongst the not guilty, which is, in his estimation, an increasingly small number of people.
Wow.
Well, let's get to it. Thank you for your assistance.
All right. Good luck. If I find anything that corroborates with your report, I'll pick up your report from Dala, and if I find anything that corroborates, I'll give it to you.
Okay. Great. Is Dala here?
I believe that she's parked, up in the offices.
Okay. I'm going to tackle one thing at a time, give him a nod, and I'm going to lead the group to the holding cell.
Mm-hmm. You all walk into a holding cell where, manacled to a large wooden chair bolted to the ground, a sort of fat upper lip with a small split in it, is a sort of, orc in his late 60s. He's like a lively, spindly old guy.
This is like punching Joel Grey.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Who looks up and goes, Hal.
Hey, old friend.
I don't know what I did. They're asking for God, Officer, Lieutenant,
I'm sorry for what happened to you. We're going to see if we can help you.
Tell us how it happened. Just to start.
They're asking for... They're asking for this kid. I don't know if you would have known him. He's come by some of the shows. I used to get him the penny tickets, to come by and see the shows back at the Lyceum, or honestly, but Demidus Blix, young, sweet, gnomish kid, studying at the Penteveral, working and studying at the Penteveral. I've worked with him a couple times in the past. He's a big fan of theater, and he, he's not a bard, he's not a musician or an artist, but he's an illusionist, and I don't know, he's knocked around a couple times. They want me to say where he is. I don't know where he is. They said that I helped him steal something from House Taconis. It doesn't sound like Demidus. This is a kid who this is a kid that if you gave him a copper piece, he'd offer to buy you a drink, and you'd say, I don't buy me a drink with my copper piece I just gave you. That's for you to have.
Doesn't sound like you either.
When was your last encounter with him?
Yesterday morning. He showed up later in the morning. He came and spoke. He came and spoke to me, and he asked me to go get a drink with him and talk to him real briefly. He's done a lot of consulting with me because he's a really talented kid, but he works in a path of trying to do these illusions that are not stagecraft, that are he works on levels of lighting and texture and verisimilitude to truly make a wall that really looks like a real wall, not something that...
About right to you.
Yes.
But he came to me yesterday because I've consulted with him a couple times on some of the finer points because he performed in the Ogremok Marketplace, and I helped him out with some showmanship and ways to think about illusion to make them a little more, I don't know, put a little more pep in your step. Things like how to hit a joke with illusion magic, things like that.
We all thank you for that.
All right, I appreciate it. Well, he's a talented kid.
His sense of humor has always been a bit dry.
I liked it.
He came to me top of the day yesterday, panicked and thrilled. He'd been in a hard way since they outlawed performance in the marketplace, and he said that a listing had come in through the university's job board that he told me that one of the sundered houses had reached out to hire a big job. And he asked me if I knew anything about fairy music.
and if I knew anything about
shit. Oh shit. He got hired as like the cocktail performance at this party. Is that what we're hearing? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This is above table. This is above table. Sorry, I'm doing that thing that I do sometimes.
We're all there. We're all there.
He came. You know, this is. He's a really sharp kid. He just was saying. You know, he's like he can make anything, but he can't make an illusion of a song that he doesn't know the chord progression to, right? He can't make the illusion of a piece of poetry unless he knows the style of poetry.
Basic stagecraft.
Basic stagecraft. He came and talked to me about Sylvan, about Telmoran stringed instruments. He came and talked to me about fountains and the kind of, if there were any magical signatures associated with this, the House of Royce, or associated with fairy craft and everything like that. And I said, well, it's been 8 years since the doors to fairy closed, but there's you know, I tried to steer him in the way. I said, do you want? I said, I can put you in touch with. I mean, if you know, there's fairies that live here in Dolmaka. They stay hidden for the most part, and they're hard to find. But we could probably. And he said he didn't have any time. He said, I have to put it all together today.
So he came to you so that you could help him bone up his act. They think that you two are involved in something far more nefarious, or at least him.
Oh, they questioned him about stealing from the House of Chaconis. He said nothing of the kind to me. He was asking about Royce. He's coming to ask about House Royce. He wanted to know how to write in their script. He wanted to know how to play their music. He wanted to know how to create the feeling of all that. That was what he was doing. But he said it needed to be. He said it had to be ready today, and it was a make or break. The amount of money he was going to get was going to be life changing. He had to get it right.
He's a lingering thread. He's a witness.
He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive.
He's alive.
They want him dead. He knows. Sorry, don't worry about him.
Yeah.
This is.
We're gonna see what we can do to get you out of here. But you clearly are not a suspect. You've done no wrong.
I swear, I can show you the songbooks I showed him. I just wrote down all those Telmoran folk songs have the same 3 chords. It's not,
Sure, I could guess half of them. Yeah. We're going to get you out of here. This can't stick. This cannot stick.
No. Okay. Let's step away. We're going to see what we can do.
Yes, give us a second, Misha.
I want to take a close look at how busted up his face is.
Yeah.
He's got a fat lip.
Yeah.
Well, how's the rest of his face looking?
He's looking up. It looks like as you look at the lip, he goes, they pulled me out of my flat pretty fast, and I just hit my face on the side of the door lintel. They didn't.
They didn't actually put their hands on you.
Well, they grabbed me, but no, they didn't. They didn't
strike you.
Me. They struck someone out on the street.
Okay. Doesn't mean they won't later.
Why would they just randomly strike somebody out on the street? What the hell?
Did somebody try to intervene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good Samaritan got in the way, and that's what they were met with. Okay.
Tam Azune.
Let's step outside for a moment.
Yes.
I'll step away from him, but not quite back to where everybody else is.
Hal, I'll see you, right?
Of course you will.
I'm happy to cooperate. I said everything I knew, and they just seemed pissed as hell that I just...
Nothing here can... You put on theater. You put on stories. You teach. You're a teacher. We're going to get you out of here. All right? That's what I'm working on today. We're going to get you out of here as soon as possible.
Okay. You guys exit from this room.
With just the 4 of us, hopefully.
Yeah, you find privacy.
Okay, so we all know exactly what's going on there, but there's something really strange about that at the Palazzo Davinos?
Yeah.
Did you share above table? Did you share the blue flame?
I
shared it with Bolaire.
I definitely shared it with Bolaire, and I think you had caught up at that time.
Okay.
So yeah. So and I'll reiterate to how just now. I think this very clearly explains Dimnus's blue flame at House Davinos. It was a sign. So he is a witness. They know that he's a lingering thread, and they're going to come after him. It's just where Dimnus is.
Well, we can put them in a circle right now and get your friend
I
out
swear
of
to
here.
God, this is why intelligence and wisdom are two separate stats. That kid is smart as fuck, but he is a little bit dim-witted and naive when it comes to
indubitably
reading situations.
Well, clearly we can add to the narrative in a reasonable way. If he stole from Taconis, he was attempting to fence or had been hired by the DeVivos to
He
purchase
steal
some
from
options.
Taconis, that's
I'm
just
well
a cover
aware,
story.
but let's just go with it. They were unavailable, clearly, to buy the merchandise, and so he's on his way to the Royce to see if they will buy the missing artifacts.
You guys have been traveling across the city a couple times today, so it's getting into the late afternoon as you guys are exiting this chamber with Misha. I'd like anyone who wants to give either a history or an arcana check in this moment.
Do history.
Okay.
I'll do Arcana.
And I'll join for a history.
Arcana to history. Ugh.
17 on history.
17.
Icky. 12.
19 Arcana.
11 history.
11 history. You got it in a 17 history, a 19 Arcana. On a 19 Arcana and a 17 history, I think both of you guys would be aware, especially like how actually going back as you feel that sword at your side, feeling the feeling of having served in the Falconers Rebellion. 'Cause that's the difference is that like you both fought in the Falconers Rebellion against Sundered Houses. One of the things you remember fighting, you didn't fight in the rebellion, but you fought in the War of Axe and Vianhal, is that sorceress houses get their magic from a source. They get it from a connection to a potent magical font or a direct divine, celestial, demonic, whatever ancestor or something potent and powerful in the world. That gives effortless magic, but it doesn't give versatility. The Taconis wield the magic of death. The Royce wield the magic of fairy. The Royce have always had very powerful illusion and enchantment spells. And I think you both remember on that 17 and 19, sorcerers do not choose actively their spells. They access them, they increase their spellcasting potential. The Taconis, historically, and in the terms of the arcane, have no access to the school of illusion.
So they needed someone that did. Okay. Oh boy. There was no.
Does that mean they roped him in?
I think they roped him in. I think that means that, like...
They honeypotted him in with a gig.
They needed him to create the foil.
Yes.
That we saw wrapped around the paints, but.
But is this even about the paints, or is this about the cover-up?
It's about the cover-up.
They made him cover up the scene.
Yes, that's why there's. The illusion of fairy magic to cover up the necromancy.
And he somehow got away.
Yeah, he must have
a cover story for why they need him.
What is it?
They said he's stolen.
So let's lean into it. Do we want to get your friend out right now, or is that too dangerous?
I walk away from these three and I find Shamad.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, yeah.
This is, we've just spoken to him. I'm sure this can be worked out. I have known Misha Undragor since I was a boy. He's taught children, performers of all ages. He is an old man. And yes, he's met this kid, but we are talking about a coincidence. I know half the council. I know half the city. I have contracts in place for the theater. He is sanctioned to teach what he does to my troupe. Everything is the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. I'm sure we can work something out. I'm sure you and I can work something out. And my hand goes ching on a little sack of coin on my waist.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll.
I would like to offer to bring him to my home for a house arrest of sorts while you figure out what you need. Persuasion?
Persuasion.
I also gave you a heroic inspiration at the beginning of the day.
That's true.
Which is a how many?
A reroll.
It's a reroll.
If you wanted to reroll. Yeah.
That is, let me just check my features as a bard for the College of Eloquence. Yeah, that's a 23.
Hi.
Everybody here at the Brethren Hall appreciates what you're doing for the city. His eyes drag down your body to that purse at your side. But it's a complicated situation. And he eyes the purse once again.
We all just want peace in this city.
He doesn't even move to touch it once it lands on his desk. He looks over at one of the inspectors and says, "We can remit Mr. Undragor to our friend's custody here. We'll find him at your home, the Rookery."
You can find us at the Rookery? Staked on my name. You know me. This city knows me. I'm not going anywhere.
I appreciate your forthrightness.
I appreciate your understanding.
He smiles and nods, and you see that one of the inspectors goes over and releases Misha and brings him out. He looks and says, "Is everything going to be all right?"
Yeah. You're just going to come stay with me tonight.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And if I hear anything from Demodus, I'll let you all know. And you see that that Lieutenant Shamad looks over and just goes, "Thank you for all your help, Mr. Undragor. And please, if you do remember anything, let us know." And you see that Shamad smiles and lets you guys walk out of there as the gold just rests. How many gold pieces are in that bag?
Let's say 50 gold are in that bag.
Great. You leave 50 gold on the table, which is about like a month's salary for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
this guy helped raise my kids.
Yeah. He looks and says, "Well, congrats to him and congrats to you, Mr. Fang. I'm excited for opening night." And he smiles as you guys prepare to leave this place.
I'd like to get that report, please.
He hands it over to you.
Great. Cool. I'll leave with it.
You see he looks up and says, "The old guy's a dead end."
Looks to be so. We'll see.
All right. We got we'll just keep digging. And you guys exit that place. As you do, you walk out under the gray sky as the sun begins to get a little bit lower. You see that Misha looks out and says, "I don't know how you do it, Hal. You're a magician. I don't know how you do it."
Learned it from you.
Give me a break. Oh, God, what a frightening day. Good grief. You think Demodus is going to be all right?
I don't know. We're gonna try to find him ourselves and see what's what.
Yeah, the day's not over, Misha.
Seems like a misunderstanding.
I'm gonna also like kind of rake my nail across my gemmed teeth and whisper to you with a message. Let's not forget the House Daconis is watching House.
Oh no, I'm certain that he's being watched by other houses as well.
In fact, actually, with you saying that, I'm gonna take, while we walk, I'm gonna take out my my compact and just do a little powder under my eyes. These bags, and I'm gonna cast see invisibility and just see if anyone is watching us as we exit.
No one is watching as you exit.
Okay. I'm gonna as I keep it up, I'm just gonna stay perceptive.
You exit together, staying perceptive. This night, you are supposed to meet with Romina Roundtree at the Seven Stars. There are a few hours before that has yet to occur. Somewhere, Olgood Akarat, your business partner, has the body of Thiazi Fang. Much unfolds here in the city. But you know one thing. Demidus Blix knows something of what happened at the Palazzo Davinos, and he has not yet been found. That's all for this episode of Critical Role.
Oh boy, what have you gotten yourself into, Demidus?
We've got to find that busker.
Ooh, did I do that?
Killer work, gang. Holy smokes. Thank you so much for everyone watching at home. And as always, is it Thursday yet?
See you in the cooldown.
What does that paint do, man? My brain is just going all nerd. Well, yeah. It's going all nerd because conjuration is, it conjures.